Hello, everybody. So yesterday I ended and I got down to 193 issues. And then after the stream, I got it down to 177. I think I want to keep closing stuff today because ideally, here's my kind of general plan. Marketing still needs to happen, but there are all these open issues and very few are worth doing. And in any extra time, I want to add more delightful things to the game. And I think this is needed for a couple of reasons. One, I was thinking about, I've been watching some old Skeleseller videos, people who recorded, 6, 7 months ago, something like that. And they had fun playing the game. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, a lot has improved since then. There's this aspect of when someone does their first playthrough, they have fun. And then they do their second playthrough and now there's no novelty for it. And I'm talking about story mode. Let me write this here. So it's fun, and then there's no novelty because the game's pretty linear and you've discovered how everything works, and now it feels a little more like a slog because you're like, well, I know what's going to happen and I just need to make it happen, and there's only so much I can do to speed it up. And influencers, having influence, are going to be the most important people to cover the game when it first launches. And if they're like, oh, this wasn't as fun as the first time around, it's going to steer people toward not wanting to buy it. So I need to ratchet up that aspect. And it's going to benefit everybody. That's another thing. Like if I add in whatever fun new items or mechanics that people can discover, I think it'll still benefit everybody. So yeah, I want to look through the issues and I want to find out what can we do, what can we close, what can we, whatever. Yeah, what's worth actually tackling. So how about this? Let's start with this one. Save party configurations, which instance slots they were in and which locations they were battling at. Essentially, when you load a game, it should reflect the state you left it in. And I just said we should just put them back into walking to the portal. Okay, yeah, let's tackle this. So what do we want to do here? Like, let's go look at the save file, I guess. We have instance slot or window something. What do I call this? Position. Oh, come on. Where did we save this? Maybe it's not in this save file because I didn't have it in this. And I need to go like start the game and try to save it. Let's go find out. I'll just make a new game. Hey, Phil. Good morning. All right, so if I do this and then hit save, I think it'll work. Well, that was weird. It was like a delay. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, so now do we have positions here? Yes, we do. Instance slot save status. Could we just add adventurers here and at load time put them back into battles? Because I think that would be pretty good. And that way people don't need to do anything when they get back in. And then test what happens when you didn't have this in your save file so that people who played the demo, well, who are playing the demo now, won't break anything. All right. Yeah, I don't think this should be too bad. So where do we create this stuff? Is this from Instances Manager? Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. So we want to keep track of a list of adventurer classes. But this is only if you were actually in a battle. We need to know whether a battle was ongoing. Otherwise, we don't want to restore the window. Or maybe we restore it. Maybe we can't restore it with an end battle screen. There's one other thing I was thinking about, which is, oh yeah, that's right. The whole bag idea that I mentioned, change harvestables. Add item bags. Something you need to save and load this type of item. Heavily weighted to be small blue potion. Also need to handle what happens when you click the bag while already holding an item. Yeah. Hey, Chef Alton. Okay. So we could make this a nullable list or an empty list. It could be empty. Yeah. If this is empty, we say the battle was... If this list is empty, then the battle wasn't ongoing. But it's not just ongoing. We need to make it so that if they're walking to the portal, it still saves. Test that when the adventurers are walking to the portal and you save it, that it still loads correctly. I.e., it's not exactly that the battle was ongoing, just that you had intent to battle. What's the problem here? Why does it say type expected? Oh, because of the comma? Change adventurers to be read-only. Yeah, sure. All right, so let's go save this. So you go through each instance slot and select its position. Oh, this won't work. Yeah, this won't work. Because we only save this if they were undocked. We need to save it regardless and save... Wait. No, maybe that's fine. All right, well, does an instance slot reveal which adventurers were in it? That are doing battle or just did battle? What if they haven't done battle yet? There's like a walking to portal thing, right? This is not good. Yeah, how do we control this? No, man. And this has to, yeah, this knows about the adventurers. Ooh, all right. So we need a way of fetching from an instance slot which adventurers were in it, regardless of what state we were in. I don't like that. Oh, wait, there's this, isn't it? Adventurers to do battle next. Doesn't always match the adventurers that did battle. Because, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so we just do that. Slot dot adventurers to do battle next. Cannot convert from I read only list adventurer to adventure class. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can make a read only list adventurer classes equals this dot select. Yeah, and then adventurer class or adventurer component dot get adventurer class. Yeah. And then we have two lists here, but how do we... Oh, whoops, I see. I was like, why doesn't that match? Type argument for method cannot be inferred from the usage. Try specifying the arguments explicitly. This takes a node. I mean, we could cast it first to a node and then do dot select, and then it would work, I think. Or we could just do it the smarter way, which is we say A there. And I guess this is more like adventurer. Okay, and we don't need this. And we do need this. Cool. So now it's just saved automatically, but we don't do anything to load it. So what's failing here? This. Oh, I don't like that. I mean, we could... There are a couple things we could do. We could... How about let's change some things here. I read only list adventurer class. Adventurer classes to do battle next. And that's going to be that. thin wrapper around this. It's not actually that. Thin wrap around this for the sake of save files. Okay, now we can use this. This apparently thinks we don't need this here. I don't think that's correct though. Huh, that's strange. That's strange. Oh, maybe because I forgot the generic type argument originally. Okay, that's probably why. All right, so now this can change into slot dot that. And then we delete all that. And then we go fix up the next error that we have here, which is over there. Okay. So we push this so that when you open up a new... All right, how about this? Let's just try what I've done so far and see if it saves correctly. Like I said, it's not going to load correctly because I didn't write any loading code. Although I guess we have loading code from when the positions got saved, so I should try that out. So how do we test this? I need at least a couple adventurers. And we're going to start one battle, mage in the forest at the upper right, and the other one, witch doctor in the forest down there that's actually running. And then we save, and there. We don't do anything else. So this is the state we left this in. Hey, Flair. We go into the save file. We look at this. So now we have it. Where'd that go? Oh, where'd that go? Save slot. There. Yeah. Hey, Katie. Okay, so Adventures 6. This one is not docked, and it's, I guess, at the upper right. So that must be the... Wait, no, neither one is docked. And this is the bottom. Yeah, and then this is the mage. Okay, good. So that looks like it's fine. And now when we load, we need to restore this stuff. Does this happen at any other point in the game? I see. So this is just positions. Restore positions only. True. Okay, so if we're not just restoring positions and we want to also... So this would be false. Maybe we rename this to like restore battles. Restore ongoing battles. It's not ongoing battles. Restore adventurer parties. Maybe that. Your favorite video game. I keep a list of this stuff because I like thinking about it every once in a while. And when someone asks you this, it's hard to just like think off the top of your head of what your favorite video games are. So let me share my list with you. Let me find it first. Here it is. And there. Okay. These are not in order. WoW, Diablo 2, Smash Bros. Melee, Breath of the Wild, Undertale, Super Metroid, Super Mario 64, Mega Man X, A Link to the Past, Super Mario RPG. Well, there are a lot on this list. All right, I'm not going to list them all. But the list goes on. There are like 10 of these. Anyway, if I had to pick just one of these, in terms of like... It's actually pretty tough. Because I think there are a lot of reasons why I play games. And sometimes it's for the fun of it. Sometimes it's for the immersion of it. Sometimes it's the competition. So like I played a lot of Melee. And this was like my competitive game. But I played a lot of Diablo 2. And this is like a relaxing RPG for me. Skeletor's missing. You know, I don't think it's easy to judge your own game to see what impact it would have on you because you made it. Like, if I didn't make Skeletor, I don't know if I'd list it as a top game, but I think I'd find it fun. What's your list, Flair? Slay the Spire. In fact, Slay the Spire is, I don't think, on my list. I should put it on my list. Yeah, I don't know why it isn't on my list. I think it's a very well-made game. There, it's on there now. Yeah, we can laugh anyway. We can laugh at the joke we never heard. Okay, so this is a little bit difficult. How do we do this? This is on party reach portal. We need to know when you start. So like to do create the window with the adventures that you have. And we need to make sure this happens in the right order. It's not on the list. You got a tattoo of a game that is not on your like favorite games list. I don't think that computes. It's like me having Mario on my bicep and being like, yeah, I've never played a Mario game. Just thought he was a cool Italian plumber. Well, to each his own, or to each their own. So how do we create this? Add party in transit. Walk to portal to start battle. Probably this. Yeah, probably this. Problem is we need to know whether it was elite, which means we need to know what instance they were going to. Man, I didn't think about that. We don't save that right now, do we? No, we don't. Drat. 100% Minecraft? Oh, wow. Yeah. I have things to say about this, and I have positive things to say about this. If I click these, what happens? There's no... It's literally just like, here are games I like? Okay. All right, well, I have not played this. I have not played this. I technically played this... Maybe, wait, Rift of the Necrodancer. I played Crypt of the Necrodancer, but the Zelda version. I thought it was interesting. I haven't played any of these other games. Loop Hero I played. I like that. I thought it was good. RoboQuest I played. That was pretty good too. I think I played Cobalt Core. Did I play this on stream? What is this game? Cobalt Core Steam. No, I did not play this. I think I played like 2 minutes of Wild Frost and then uninstalled it. Call to the Lamb I played like half an hour of. You played a lot of games that I have not played. Oh, Gorogoa is good. One Shot I hated. Oh my god. Did not like that game. There's Crypt of the Necrodancer, Undertale, Portal 2, Portal. Yeah, those are good. Okay, this is a much longer list than I thought. I kept thinking, oh, it's going to end soon. You have a very, very long list. In no particular order, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy. Oh yeah, Risk of Rain 2 should be on there if it's not already. Let me write that down. It's not on the list. Risk of Rain 2. By the way, there's a new Terraria patch that's out, like a big content update. I really want to play that. Okay, so we got to change this so that it keeps track of which instance you were going to. Instance ID. Yeah, test what happens when you don't have an ongoing battle. It should still save the window position. Minecraft was on my list, by the way. How often do I play games? Actually, pretty frequently, but I only play like 1 or 2 games at a time. And right now, all my time's been going into the finals. I just got this new mouse, though, and it's really hard to play an FPS with a new mouse. Because you have to get used to all the new like hand motions. And in particular, for whatever reason, I know why I bound this, but I have a space button on the mouse, and I use that to jump. But it's in a slightly different position from my old mouse. Final Fantasy 6, 12, and Divinity? Is that what that is? Yeah, Original Sin, yeah. How good is AI in game dev? I think it's pretty much as good as in other places, but I haven't used it too extensively. I've got my whole, like, I just recorded this video that's in that command there of what are my opinions about AI. And I talk about my usage. I'm not linking that to you for you to watch the whole thing or something. I know you're new to the channel. Welcome, by the way. But if you wanted to get some context on like how is my opinion shaded by my usage, that talks about my usage in the first like minute or so. All right, so we would keep track of like which instance ID, like, yeah, instance ID, I guess. I don't know. All right, so now we got to go save this, which means it's going to break instances manager. Slot dot next instance ID, and this is not necessarily the previous one. Yeah. In fact, we should probably call it next instance ID. Thought you were maybe going to send it back, but you've kept it. So I'm not super happy about this mouse right now. Let me show you. I made a post about this. I said, hey, I used to use a G600. I want a shift button. This doesn't let you use the function I want without having this program open, IQ. I don't want this open. And my old mouse did not require me to have a program open. But the wireless version apparently doesn't support something the wired version does. So I'm like, hey, can someone confirm this for me? And I got literally one comment saying, just be thankful the software is working. Like, this isn't helpful. And I get that it's a joke about, haha, the software sucks. But like, I mean, this isn't a cheap mouse. I'd like to know the answer to my question and if I got the right thing or not. So the things that I'm most unhappy with is there's no extra top button. So I rebound right click, which is very bizarre. So now in order to right click, I actually have to middle click. And in order to middle click, I had to press this weird button here. Sorry, it's better if I hold the mouse like this, I guess. So, sorry, now it's really hard to move the mouse. Okay, so right click is actually middle click. And then middle click is this bottom one, which I guess is not super obvious when I'm just in a text editor. And that way right click does literally nothing except for shift the profile that my mouse is on so that I can use different buttons on the side. So that's the most annoying thing that I have. But then there's also no like scroll wheel back/forward buttons, if you want to call them that. Like sometimes you can nudge it to the left or the right. You can't do that here. And then, yeah, there are very few top buttons in general. So I used to have a key bound to K, which I used for a lot of different things apparently. And now I'm realizing how many things I used it for. It opens a cheat menu in Skeleseller, which now I have to press it on the keyboard, and it pauses and plays a YouTube video. Hey, Pretzel. Tried everything before figuring out it was the cause. Love Corsair. Yeah, I'm not super happy with this. And yet at the same time, like, I need something to replace the old mouse for when this breaks. It hasn't broken yet, but I'm using the new mouse anyway so that I can see, is this worthwhile? Do I want to keep it? Would being wired solve the issue? Being wired would add one more top button, which would probably be a little bit nice. So I'm actually trying this wireless to see, like, do I appreciate that it's wireless? Because I haven't used a wireless mouse for many, many, many years. And it's nice, I guess. I don't know. Every once in a while, one of the problems I have with a wired mouse is the wire catches on something and then messes with my hand motion a little bit, which is not a problem in normal computer usage. It's like, let's say I meant to click the third tab and I clicked the fourth one. It's like, okay, I'll just click the third one again. But in a game, it can be debilitating. You might like die in the game by misclicking. Hey, Goose. Feel like having to rebind your right click is too high a price to pay. So it is pretty annoying, I will say that, because now on Windows it does one thing for me and on Mac it does a different thing for me. And it's like such a fundamental computer usage thing. If you give someone a new mouse and you say right click, they're going to press the right click button, right? And actually, if you double right click, like super fast, it doesn't switch profiles fast enough. So you actually activate right click in the second profile, which does right click. So if I like it's too hard to do consistently, I think. Like now I'm paying attention to it so I can do it. But otherwise it's like your normal double click speed is slower than that. Develop your own mouse and 3D print it. You can get the sensor and QMK will work for it. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Matt linked me. Can you link it in chat, Matt? The mouse that you shared with me? Because that looked really interesting. But I don't think it's meant for productivity. I think it's meant for gaming. But yeah, I'd like to show people what that one's all about because that one looks pretty cool. Slot.next instance ID. Done. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yeah, Gio. Yeah, so check this out. If you've never seen something like this, this looks bonkers. I guess even if you have seen this, it's still pretty crazy. So this is how this thing is intended. It's not showing up. Yeah. Okay. This is how this is intended to be used. There's like a little strap here that goes around the back of your hand. So that is the reason why I don't think this is meant for productivity, because imagine having to slide your hand into this thing and then like switch your keyboard and then slide your hand back into this. But once your hand is in this thing, you've got a whole bunch of buttons here and you've got a joystick, and this looks pretty ergonomic. So you basically just drag the entire thing along your desk as you're holding this, and you can press buttons. So that looked cool to me, but yeah, I don't want to like, I don't know. I need to be able to switch to typing. That's a mouse. Yeah. You drag this along the desk, and that's how, well, at least I'm nearly positive. Maybe it isn't a mouse. Hold on a second. Maybe I misunderstood this. Maybe just the joystick is meant to be, it is a mouse. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't misunderstand. Yeah. Mouse sensor on the bottom. Yeah. Hey, TJ. Yeah, it does look like the Azeron controller because it's the same company. And they've got, I think you're talking about some of these things. So these look pretty interesting too. None of this is cheap. Like if you click this thing, this is how much? $198. It's like, you don't just buy this and say, well, if it doesn't work, whatever, I'll donate it. It's like, no, I'd want to return this. Have you tried an ergo mouse? Not really. I'm very used to having 12 buttons on the side of my mouse, and I use them for all sorts of things. So like moving windows around, maximizing, switching tabs, closing tabs, page up, page down. Like I do all sorts of different things. The name of my old mouse is a G600. It's a Logitech G600. They discontinued it. So if you just search G600, well, never mind. Okay. Search Logitech G600. It shows up. And now look at the prices. 300, 200, 215, 270 because it was discontinued. So it's like, I'm not paying that much for a mouse. And I could technically do that. And at some point, maybe I wouldn't even be able to obtain one anymore and I'd have to switch. But yeah, it's not a great time to be an MMO mouse user for non-MMOs. Visually, these look horrible. I don't mind the aesthetics of peripherals, especially if they're incredibly specialized. A long time ago, I used a Cyborg MMO7. Everyone said this looks like a transformer. I don't know if this mouse still exists, but this isn't like a beautiful device. Some people might like the aesthetic, but it was pretty cool to use. I think it was nice. Probably worth checking YouTube with someone using it. Strap probably has more to do with being able to pick up your hand or move quickly. Yeah, but it might also be for, I don't know what the word for this would be, like offsetting the pressure you apply to buttons. So like imagine you press the key and it pushes the keyboard away and the strap is what's stopping you from moving the keyboard every time. In which case then the strap would be necessary. But either way, I'm one of the things that disappoints me about this mouse is I did kind of rely on some videos that didn't fully cover the particulars I cared about. And unless I find a video that's exactly like, oh, it'll put my mind at ease, then yeah, I'm not sure how I'd feel. I also wonder how good it'd be for FPSs. Maybe fine though. Good old Razer Naga. Yeah, hey Cavino, I told this story on stream a couple times, but I boycotted Razer because I bought the original Naga back in like 2010 or 2009 or something like that. And back then, if you pressed any button on the side, it would just type the number corresponding to it. So literally all it could do is type 1 through 0, minus, and equals. And I sent them an email. I'm like, is there any plan to remap this stuff? Like, can I change these to different shortcuts? And they were like, nope, no plans to do that. So I returned it. And then like a month later, they announced that there was remapping functionality. So I was like, hey, I returned this because you told me there were no plans to do this. Can you at least give me like a tiny discount to cover the shipping I had to pay? And they're like, nope. So I'm like, all right, never doing business with you again. Now, I get that this is partially entitled customer syndrome here, but like, come on, you said there were no plans and then somehow a month later they get done. Like maybe they didn't want to be public about it, but then just be like, okay, here's a 10% off coupon. I would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll continue to buy your mice. And I assume the Naga would actually be pretty good for my situation too, but I'll never find out because I'm not giving them money. Maybe you gave them the idea. Yeah, maybe I did. And hey, Mike, sounds like it's time to design and 3D print your own. Yeah, I think there's an alternate reality where I was more of a hardware person and did that and then was happy with it. But I don't think I'm going to end up spending the time. Hey, Cleus. Yeah, in that case, I want equity. Either way, I was shafted by this company. Okay, so if I were to just start 2 windows, Mage and then Witch Doctor, and actually put the, I guess, the Witch Doctor into battle and then save. So now let's check the save file. Next instance ID is 1 and 1. Okay, that's fine. This is looking good. And now we need to restore this. And I had some code that I started to write but then didn't finish. And I apparently didn't write a to-do item there. Where did I put this? There, right there, to-do, yeah. Okay, so that's line 342. Yeah, just hire Raimu. That would actually be pretty cool. Quality is trash compared to my other headphones. So the thing is, I actually used Razer mice before that. I can't remember the name of it. I want to say it was like a Black Adder or something like that. Yeah, I think I had this mouse, and I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it wasn't great. It actually broke pretty quickly in terms of mice longevity. But like, yeah, I would have kept buying Razer products. But not anymore. Hey, ABC. One of my favorite mice of all time. Yeah, I think one of my favorite mice was the War Mouse Meta, which was just so bizarre. It had a ton of top buttons, which mice don't, they've just never done this again. I've never seen this on another mouse. At most, you'll have like 2 on the left click, and maybe like middle click can move in a couple different directions, but not this many buttons. And then it had a joystick on the side. This was pretty neat. Yikes. Logitech didn't last long enough. Yeah, I've been using the G600 for so long, and it's lasted, I think I've gotten 2 mice over like 6 or 7 years. I'm fine with that as a lifespan. If you get 3.5 years out of a mouse. Because I use it for whatever number of thousands of hours per year. Probably like 2,500 hours or something like that. Maybe more. All right, so create this. We have the... Where is it? Create or get instance slot. I don't think it's this. Is it create instance? Maybe. What is this integer instance slot to use? I want to... Oh, this might be difficult. That's what happens when instance slots 1 and 3 have battles, but not 2. How does it know which positions to use? Hey, Tensei. Start double clicking after like a year? Yeah, that never happened to me. But I've heard that for practically every mouse that ever gets created, that people are like, oh, I have double click issues. So I wonder if it's just like, you know, hard drive problems. Some last 6 months and yeah, they're under warranty maybe, and some last for 12 years and they're totally fine. What type of game am I making? It's a laid back, like semi-idle game. It mostly focuses on auto battling and town management. There's the Steam page for it if you want to check it out. Okay, so how will we do this? I think we just call this function, but I'm not positive. Okay, so for each create instance. Oh, only if we had adventurers though, right? To do check to see if this battle was actually ongoing. And then call it with, oh wait, no, it just kind of filled everything in for me. Saved status. All right, so adventurers, we don't have your adventurers here, but we have the adventurer classes, and it's supposed to be an iRead-only list. Adventurers equals, how do we get this? Town dot get adventurer by class. All right, I'm gonna just do this in a silly way for right now, and then we're gonna change this if this ends up working. Class in save status dot adventurers. If it's not null, add it, and then pass this in here. Cool. Okay, the -1 is maybe fine, and then is elite is, oh darn it, I didn't save that. One of these days. Yeah. All right, fine. Let's go add that in now. Is elite would be saved status dot is elite. Now we delete this. And now we got to go modify the thing that we used to save this. This doesn't probably know whether it's elite or not. I'm not even certain about this. Oh, there it is. Represent whether the location we're going to should be elite? Huh? This is not when we just added the party, in which case this will represent whether... Oh, yeah. That's correct. I misread this. I thought this would say not going to. Okay. Yeah. That's exactly what I want. So we do slot dot is elite. And then same thing with the next one of these. And one of the things I should probably do is get all of this stuff, like get instance slot save status. So I'll write another to-do item here. To do, make this a function in instance slot so that we can remove duplication in this file. Optical switches do much less. Yeah, they might be better. But I guess what I'm trying to say is amongst mechanically or, I don't know, like rubber membrane focused mice, that probably it just happens regardless, and that there's no amount of like quality control that can fix that maybe. I don't know. Again, speculation. But yeah, hopefully it does get fixed for people. Few buttons I can program for like CAD use. I'd like to bind, escape, enter, few numbers. Anyone use a mouse this way? Yeah, it's pretty much how I use my mouse. I think I have the video. Yeah, mouse config. This is not a great video, but it shows off how I use this. And I need the Keychron M6 and M7 for the ergonomics. M6 and M7. Do they make mice? I don't think I knew that. Oh, huh, they do. Where's... Yeah, here are all of them. Yeah, these are mostly like normal mice, I'd say. I mean, there's also an ergonomic one, like a vertical one, but otherwise they don't have a ton of buttons on the side. I want lots of buttons. Hey, Lay, how you doing? The Skella Smeller himself. Good day, Mr. Levine. Good day. Tobogganator. Yeah, I've heard of them making keyboards. I didn't know they made mice. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, for those who are not in the know, we're 48 days away from launch. There is a lot of stuff to do still. I'm not too worried about kind of missing that as a deadline. I feel like the game's already pretty much ready. So if I did this correctly, okay, nice. It restored the mage battle. It did not restore the witch doctor battle. I don't know why it didn't restore that one, though. I guess I didn't have is elite here. But still, I don't think this is working correctly. Oh, now it's just broken. Collection was modified after the enumerator was instantiated. Because of calling create? Well, maybe because of calling create. I mean, let's go find it. We go through this, and then we call create instance. Create instance. What does this modify? Oh, I think it saves instance slot data. Shouldn't it tell me what line this is happening on? 345. How is this changing? Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to check this. I want to check this from like a copy. I guess let's do this for right now. I think this is kind of stupid. There is no target type. Yeah, I need this to be a... Oh, it's a stack. Wow, that's kind of surprising. All right, well, just .toList should work. To do clarify that the toList is to prevent concurrent operations. Yeah, I'm really hackily coding this just to see if I can throw this all together. Then we can think of, like, is this proper? 48 yays away from lunch. How hard would you say it is to learn Godot? Not very hard. I think it all depends on what you mean by learn Godot exactly. If it's like make Pong, I don't think it's going to take you very long. If it's make Portal, it might take you longer, but it's still not going to be super crazy. there are ways of doing things in Godot. And what's nice about game engines is that you can test a lot of them out and see like the visual results of doing those things. And then there are some paradigms that you have to learn, whether you're coming from even a similar engine, it's going to be different still. Okay, check it out. So this worked, except for it put them immediately back into battle. I want it to potentially make them walk to the portal. Or no, not potentially, always. How do we do that? There's create walking to instance. Maybe we can do that. So instead of create instance, what if we did create walking to instance? Was this taken? Instance ID, adventurers. Yeah. So this, and this, but no slot ID. I think this is going to mess up window positions. Ugh, be annoying. You work in, I'll go do the ops. All right, enjoy your workout. I mean, just learning the coding part. Well, the coding part technically doesn't have to be any extra learning. Like I'm using C#. You can use C# for something else if you want. They do have their own language called GDScript, but even that's pretty similar to Python. So if you know Python, it's not going to feel like you learned a new language, really. It's going to feel like there's just some little differences. It's almost like the difference between American English and British English. They're like close enough. Hey, Bullbox. Thanks for the raid. Hey, Gwendolyn. Yeah, 48 days away. Hey, Tricky Lady and Jotson. Yeah, so for those who haven't seen Skeletor in a while, it's the same general game. It might look a little better from when you've last seen it. But it's the same core mechanics and everything. You've got adventurers, you send them into battle. They fight automatically for you. And I'll speed this up a little bit. And when they win these battles, they earn items out of this portal that then your little skeleton will bring to your shops and you'll sell them. And you earn money and you upgrade your town, upgrade your adventurers. So it's a very, very casual, idle, light kind of incremental game. Game does so hard you split your keyboard in half. Yep, I took an axe to it. Yeah, so if you want to check this out, it's on Steam. Matt just shared the link. I am currently working on trying to get it so that when you have battles going on, so like let's say I put, I don't know, Mage and Witch Doctor into this one, and I put the like Mushy and the Spirit Caller into the Forest battle, and then I save and load, it should put you back into those battles. So you can see they're walking, they have to walk to the portal. But then once they make it there, they should go back into those same battles I just set up for them. And it looks like that's not happening. They're not even walking to the portal. Oh boy. Yeah, that's not good. There's some other state that probably needs to be changed, or the order of this needs to be changed. But yeah, that's what we're working on right now. Hey, Irad. And thanks, Gwendolyn. How you feeling about launch coming up? I think so much of what I do at this point probably comes down to marketing that it's irresponsible of me to be streaming. I really should just be focusing on marketing. Because the people I share the game with say that it's fun. So I don't think we need to like enhance the fun a lot more. Anyway, other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited. One of the things that's also tough, I have a set of tenets that I try to follow every week, and there are only 3 of them right now. It's sustainability in terms of, can I continue to do this for a while? It is bricklaying, which I kind of describe in this command, and then it is now taking breaks. But I think it takes a lot of grit to make a project succeed, and grit is kind of the opposite of sustainability, but not really. The way I think you'd apply grit if you were still trying to be sustainable is you'd probably like add time to your project as opposed to adding work to it. So yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that a little bit of like, how much time can I spend on this? I have a friend who's in a research position at a tech company, and she has a deadline coming up. Actually, I didn't realize this until just now. She said the deadline is on the 28th. And I was like, oh, that's like 12 days from now. You're really working hard, even though it's super far away. It's apparently tomorrow. Or no, it's today. Excuse me. I don't even know what day it is. So anyway, never mind. I was going to say a story about how, wow, she's working really hard and it's like 2 weeks ahead of the deadline. And I have a deadline in 48 days and I'm like not working as hard, I feel. But never mind. It's just because I don't know what day it is. Streaming alleviates stress, at least for me. So I think streaming alleviates stress for me a little bit if I'm doing dev tasks, and dev tasks are the most important thing. But I don't think they are the most important thing anymore. I do think it's marketing, and I think part of marketing is going to be content creation. Like I should probably make something like 20 videos and just pump them out every single day leading up to launch. And that way people are like, oh yeah, I saw that game on YouTube, or oh, this one got shared on Reddit or something like that. Hey, Kevin. So yeah. And in the meantime, I mentioned this earlier, I've been looking at old Skeleseller videos from other people. So I watched 3 of these again. I watched Idle Cubs, I watched Avox, and I watched someone else's. And I just kind of looked through, how are they playing? What do they find fun? How would they experience the game now? I'm thinking about that sort of thing. You have a list of influencers? Yeah. I've got a bunch of people who agreed to stream it or who played the demo and would play the full one. And man, the more I look at these things, I mentioned this too. Idle Cub made this video. This is the best performing Skeleseller video at 110,000 views. This produced so many wish lists that like this was more important than every other bit of marketing I've done combined. Like being in Next Fest, being on the front page of Twitch, reaching out to all these other content creators. It was just such a crazy amount of wish lists from this. And this is exactly the audience that I'd want to target. Played my demo recently. It was a nice watch. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And you probably noticed that it was like a huge boon for your game, right? And by the way, the other thing about this is this video was made 7 months ago. At least like 5% of these views were in the last couple weeks. So this video is still doing moderately well. It's like, imagine if instead of this, you saw 105,000 and you saw another video that got 5,000 views. You'd be like, oh, wow, this video probably contributed. Well, both those videos are just this video. Probably has a specific tangible bonus on the line, but your upside. What were you talking about? She probably has a specific tangible bonus on the line. I don't know who you're talking about. Tripled my wish list so far. Yeah, it's amazing what influencers will do. The research girl story thing. Wait, did I miss something? Oh. Sorry. Yeah. My friend. Okay. In my mind, we were just talking about Idle Cub, and I did not understand. Yes, you were correct. Yes, Sorcerer. I agree with you. I think a part of it is imposter syndrome that I'm talking about here. Like, I recently did a little exercise in my life. I took a week, and what I did is I recorded everything I did during that time. And I did this manually, so it wasn't perfect. But I looked at this as sort of like if you were on a diet and you were calorie counting. This is you keeping track of everything you eat. I was keeping track of everything I was doing. And at the end of that week, I learned a couple things about myself. One, I am a relatively productive person, and I don't always notice that. So sometimes there are things that fade into the background that need to be done. And productivity is not always business productivity. It's like if I take care of whatever, doing the dishes, like that needs to be done. And if it doesn't get done, it's like, well, I won't be eating off clean plates. So it's like even that productivity factors into things. And when I'm not doing Skeleseller stuff, I'm doing something else. I don't know, something I would deem productive still. And the other thing I realized is that as the week goes on, my productivity drops a little bit. So the weekends do help to reset that and recharge. I think it was a really good exercise. Emailing there all over the place in different language, not necessarily make content creation. I feel like the possibility of content creation going viral is small. Yeah. But I think the larger the content creator, the less likely they are to want to cover a game for free. And I think that's especially true for streamers. Like, yeah, some streamers have some program where maybe they'll play smaller games or something. But a lot of times it's like, well, if they have 1,000 viewers and they're getting, $1,000 per hour from sponsors, why would they be like, yeah, I'll play your game for free? Then I think sponsors would just change their strategy. So they'd be like, hey, you want to try our little indie game, Raid Shadow Legends? Hey, Leftist. So yeah, I got to tamp down the imposter syndrome stuff. So the walking to portal doesn't actually work. Walking to portal doesn't work after loading. There's some state that we're not setting correctly. And I think this has to do with the order that we're loading things in. Oh, great. ES Code isn't working anymore. Hey, dig it. This big YouTuber that played your game do it for free? He did it for free. I didn't even reach out to him. So he just found the game and played it. Now, that's something that can always happen no matter what, right? Like you've got a product for sale and someone just goes out and buys that product without you having to reach out to them. But if you reach out to an influencer and, well, okay, sorry, let me back up a step. The biggest influencers don't read their own email. They have some kind of agency in front of them. And you see this a lot as you go on YouTube. Like, let's say you go to, first let's go here so I don't play someone else's audio. Let me mute this. Okay, so let's say you go to Idle Cub's thing. Idle Cub is probably different in this case, but you click their channel. On YouTube, for people who don't know this, you have a view email address thing here. So if I click this, it's going to show a CAPTCHA, and then it'll show their email address that they've listed. A lot of times people will put some like, you know, Adam at, or not even Adam at, it might be like, whatever, you know, marketing at some PR agency.com. They're not reading, sorry, the influencer's not reading this email. What's happening is someone is filtering this and being like, oh, here's a monetarily viable thing that fits your community that we think you should do, and we've negotiated the rates and everything. If you reach out to them and say, hey, could you maybe play my game? They're not going to answer. They get a ton of those emails. So even reaching the influencer in that case is somewhat difficult. Community will eventually ask them to play. Yes. And if the community asks them, it's very different from the developer asking them, I think. Because this, if a community asks them, it's more organic. So then it's like, okay, well, as a developer, then do you try like, quote unquote, infiltrating their community? And someone actually just mentioned this to me on stream yesterday, that Lyric has sub Sundays. Yeah, here. Yeah, Musco Busto said he has a website for subs to vote on. And if you take a look, he gives those games an hour and he plays 8 to 10 a week. And that these games don't need a ton of votes. So technically, right, I could make like 5 Twitch accounts and subscribe to Lyric and manipulate this. I don't plan on doing that. But these are like creative, subversive marketing campaigns that you could do. I need a kid from Adam Learns to Drive to play the game. Now there's a genius marketing strategy. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Somewhere we load in the instances manager. Oh wait, what am I doing? I just search for it from here, right? This gets called from the UI. The UI is called from here, and it's toward the end. But then do we do something with adventurers afterward? Maybe in here we do. No, I don't see anything there. Update customers, rebate, queue, abilities, achievement system. I don't see any problem with that. Something's causing them to not actually start walking to the portal. Something else must be responsible for that, I think. Makes it look so fun. Yeah, that's another thing that's really important. Like the influencer has to like your game enough to communicate to other people that they should play it. And this is another thing I'm a little bit worried about. Like the game hasn't changed drastically since then. It looks better. There's more content. There's more stuff. But in general, it's the same core game. So I wonder if those influencers play it again and they just say, yeah, well, it was more fun the first time. And then I don't have that influential effect. Sending free keys to all of them, no matter if they're big or not, and then letting it snowball. Yeah, yeah. Although I will say, I don't actually think it's too much effort to do that. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's effort to find them. But if you knew what the opportunities were and you just had a checklist you had to perform, that's not too much effort. Hey, lava cake. Let's try it out. Maybe the streamer has a deal. Yes, and I'm probably going to do that. I have been making a list of all these influencers, and I've been generally only emailing the people who have fewer than 20,000 subscribers because I'm like, oh, there's a chance that they read it themselves. But at some point, I'm going to just email everybody. And that point is probably going to be on like February 17th when we're only a month away from launching. 1 month away. Be too much for this world to handle. And he could be in his little car playing Skeleseller. Okay, so what happens when you normally walk to the portal? Start battle. There's started battle. Isn't there like chose? Yeah, here it is. Chose instant party. Okay, so what do we do here? Walk to portal to start battle. This takes a whole bunch of arguments that I didn't pass in. What did I do? What did I do? Create walking to instance? Does this call this? Aha. Okay, that's my problem. So what? This sets some state that we weren't doing? Add party in transit? Maybe it's that. It's probably that. Okay, so I just need to call this with the right arguments. So what are the arguments? Are they those? ID, adventures, instant slot, auto battle enabled? Oh, drat. I don't technically have that saved. So sure, let's just set it to false. Nothing's ever easy, is it? Okay, let's try this. Oh, yeah. I want to submit it to Lyrics sub Sunday thing. And if any of you are Lyrics subscribers, you should probably submit it yourself, because that would be very helpful for me. All right, is this going to actually work? Are they walking to the portal? Please say yes. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Now we need to save whether or not auto repeat is on. Oh, hey, look at that. I got an achievement. Is auto repeat on? So that's the first Boolean. We got to go save it. The first Boolean, right? So slot is auto repeat on. Auto repeat? Is it just that? Yeah. Hang on one sec. I'll be right back. Okay. My wife's on the phone in the other room, and I can hear her, and I don't know if you can hear her. But now you shouldn't be able to. All right, what else? This slot dot auto repeat. And then when we save it, we're just saving it happen. There should be a... No, that was the saving it. The loading it, I didn't do. I think now it's fine. Oh, no, there we go. Saved status dot auto repeat. Okay, let's try that out. Say hi to wife. Well, now there are 2 doors between us. Too late for that. So this one should have auto repeat on. Oh, wait, no, it probably won't because I don't even have auto repeat enabled. So what happens when we win this fight? It shouldn't repeat it, right? Yeah. But what happens if I do this and I set is auto repeat on? Wow, nice. It knew. And then what else? What else? I gotta go unlock auto repeat. Do we have player abilities somewhere? Yes, we do. And what is the ability ID of auto repeating battles? What I even call this? There it is, 63. Okay. That should do it. Let's go load that game. That broke completely. What happened? Jason Valley cannot be converted to a base ability. Really? Really? Getting ready to leave the house for the first time since Friday. Been iced in. Food is running thin. You said the rest of the family is getting antsy. Are they also getting ready to leave the house? Yeah, we don't have auto repeat. Okay, so how do we get auto repeat and save it in the save file? Because I would like that. Now it's off. How did that happen? That doesn't look good. Yeah, it started with it off. Huh. And yet it looked like it was on by default. What if I toggle this and then speed up? No, it's still off. Strange. Strange indeed. Auto battle enabled. It's clearly on, and then they get into the battle and it's not on anymore. That means they have to go to school. Yes, the antsiness wasn't enough to overpower that. Auto repeat equals value. Huh, strange. So what happens when they make it to the thing? We call create instance. This doesn't know about auto repeat? No, because the slot already knew about it. So something's wrong here. I gotta find out what. I don't know how I feel about this. I wonder if I'm wasting time. Let's talk about this. Let's get out of this battle and just have the one. And that way, when we debug this, we don't have to go through a lot for it. Just put a breakpoint there and then hit load. Okay, so this will give us the mage, I believe. Are you a mage? Mushroom. Oh, right. Sorry, I've changed things up. Yeah, mushroom. Okay, good. And then I don't care about that. I care about this. So now auto repeat should be on. It's off. What? They were off in both of these cases. Hold on a second. Why is it enabled here then? I think that's a real problem. So, okay, I thought it was on because it's enabled there. But if I actually turn it on now, does it work? Yes, it does. Okay, so then the problem is that it looks like it's enabled, but it's not. So now if they win this battle, they're going to fight again. Yeah. Strange. Okay, so we set this to false and then load. And yeah, this thing thinks it's on. So why is that? Yeah, I'll put my breakpoint back over here. Is auto repeat on is false. Okay, so it makes this. Create walking to instance. Walking to instance. Oh, it was only ever possible to create this with this on because prior to now, there was no way for you to choose to turn it off. So we don't even specify it, I guess. Yeah, I must have deleted it. There is no, well, there's a toggle, I guess. And it just starts with it on, and I deleted whatever code could allow you to set it. Oh, man. Strange. What sets this to be on? Yeah, strange. Okay, I guess we can just go through it and find out. So this is going to create an instance slot. And if I just do instance slot dot auto repeat. Yeah, it's false. Okay, so something must turn this on. Where is that? So far, again, I'm expecting this to be false. And I'll just step through this and find out when it changes to true. I guess I could add this to the watch over here. Auto repeat. Okay, still false. Fine, fine, fine. None of that would change this anyway. This might change it. So let's find out if it did. It did not. Okay. Then we do toolbar.init. That shouldn't change it either. Huh. Strange. Okay, so fine. We return it from here. It's not null. And then we must do something down here about... Ah, there it is. Auto repeat equals auto battle enabled. But isn't this false? It is false. Okay, so it just doesn't know how to change it in this case. Based on the demo, the game feels really rewarding. I'm glad you're liking it. I do hope you appreciate the full version too. Man, there's a lot of stuff I look back on. I don't know how I would do it differently exactly, but there are some kind of unfortunate things about the game. One of them is that in order for you to see everything that's going on, you need to zoom out quite a lot. And then if you're watching someone's video about Skeleseller, they're like zoomed out all the time and it's difficult to watch from a phone. So like if I just click this isn't too bad. Actually, I think he did a pretty good job of staying zoomed in for a lot of this. So everything was pretty legible. But a lot of people play and they're like fully zoomed out. And it's hard to tell what's going on. Okay, so nothing sets this Walking to portal doesn't know that this changed. Zoomed in the whole time in the demo, just scrolling around a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a player, if you don't have anyone watching you, I think you should play however you want and however you have fun. But as a streamer, you need to be more mindful of, can my audience enjoy this too? So sometimes you play in a suboptimal way so that they can enjoy it. Like maybe you just ignore all the text in a game, but like your viewers probably want to know what that text says. So let's go get exactly what I'm looking at here. Yeah, so this is correct, but walking to portal doesn't know about this. I mean, we could just try enabling it no matter what. Like, who cares if you were going to start a battle without auto repeat? Just always set this to true, basically. Yeah, you know what? I think I want to try that. Hang on one sec. Okay. So we changed this. I guess there's always be true. Just always have this be true, just like for when the player does it normally. So what happens then if you try starting a boss battle? Say hi now. Did you know? Oh man, it's been an hour. Actually, I should probably take a break. Okay, hang on. Let me try this really fast. Oh, I won't be able to try it really fast. Okay, so this is fine. So we need to... Okay, I'll just write a note to myself. We got to test this out. Where I left off, test starting elite battle. Auto repeat shouldn't be on even in walking to portal. Okay, I'm going to go take a quick break because I'm trying to be mindful about this. Is it jump time? It's jump time. It's jump time. Okay, hello again, and hey, Myth. Kevin, I did say hi to my wife this time. Close the game. All right, so test starting an elite battle. Let's go do that. Should be pretty easy to just manipulate the save file for that, because next instance ID can just be 2, and is elite can be true. So let's see what this does. Ideally, it does not show auto repeat being on. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I was like, I don't want to spend more time on this. So that's good. And then, yeah, this presumably works. I guess I should have turned on invincibility. Yeah, nice. All right, so what do I need to do now? So that's working. That's working. The instance save slot thing, we don't need this. Delete this. We don't use it. Do we use everything else? I think we use everything else. All right, so this is done too. Test that when adventurers are walking to the portal and you save it, that it loads correctly. Not exactly that the battle is ongoing. And yeah, what about when it's repeating already? So let's go set this back to what it was, which is that. And then we need them to regenerate life, which probably means not having Mushy in the battle because this might be too fast. But maybe not. All right, so let's continue game. It should start a forest battle. Good. And now what I want is for... Wait a second. That's weird. How are you missing life? What? How did that happen? Maybe it's when we save mid-battle? That might be it. Because it's not supposed to happen. So if I save when they're like that, and then I load. Okay. Well, no one will probably notice that. I'm going to write that down. Doesn't auto regenerate when saving during a battle. It's not a big deal at all. Okay, so here's why this is kind of a problem. Mushy specifically has this ability, instantaneously heal at the end of a battle. Technically, the battle never ended. So that's why it's not really a problem, because this does say at the end of a battle. And this is such a narrow scenario, right? Like you saved in the middle of a fight and then you loaded and you'd have to notice. But even if you did notice, they still have some transportation time to get from here over to here. And in that time, they'd probably restore their life to full anyway. Now, it's not a guarantee. You could make their speed faster and everything. But yeah, I don't think people would worry about this. Now, what was I going to do, though, that was important? I forgot already. Test when they're walking the door. Oh, yeah. That's right. When they're regenerating at the end of this. So I need the spirit caller to take damage, or I just need them for those not to be in a fight. So let's just put the mage into a fight. Sure. Okay. So now the mage is going to take some amount of damage. And I'm just waiting for this battle to end. And then I save it. Good. Save. And now when I load, they should walk to the portal just like, yeah, nice. Okay, great. And I'm going to let this naturally play out. I'm not going to click debug speed up. And yeah, looking good. Cool. Okay, so that one's done. Test that an elite battle is not auto repeated without the perk. Test that an elite battle is auto repeated when you have the perk. Let's go do that one now. So what is the perk called? Player abilities. Here it is. Let's copy paste this. Then we go find ability ID. Elite 91. Okay, so we set 91 there. Then we go into this. We set this to true. We set the instance ID to 2, and we load the game. And auto repeat is on, and it should stay on. Good. And that means that when they die, which should happen, although I'll speed this up too. that it repeats the fight, right? Nice. Okay, cool. So that one's done. Test what happens when you don't have an ongoing battle. It should still save the window position. Okay, so now what happens when we... Let's load. And let's X out of this and then save and load. Now the next battle we start should be in that exact same position on the screen, which is right there. Then the next battle we start should be at the bottom right or something. I don't know. This one is a little bit fuzzy. Okay, there's that one. And then let's save the other one over here, I guess. You know what? Let's arrange them in a way that I'll definitely know. So there, and then there, and then there. Great. Now save and load. They should all be in the same positions. And it should be Paladin, Cleric, Rogue. Yeah, good. And then if I close all of these, save and load, they should still be... Oop, that didn't work. Right, because we don't save that they're not ongoing. Hey, Maya. Again, you don't have to not use AI. I just think you should be mindful about how you're using it. All right. We could set next instance ID to null. We don't have this information though, do we? No, when you close the window slot, that or this. Yeah, that's what we care about. So we save this as none. Instance ID dot none to indicate you weren't actually doing a battle there. And then when we load, if it's none, we just ignore it. If saved status dot instance ID is equal to none, then just continue. But I don't think we can use this continue. I think it's going to use the wrong slots, and it's just so difficult to figure out how this is supposed to work. All natty. No artificial code here. Okay, so I X out of all of these. Now I save, and it should get saved as none. Yep, they're all 0. So now when I load, it will not load in any of those instances. But if I were to create parties myself, they should go into those same slots. Now this might be in the wrong order, I guess. In fact, I'm not... Maybe I just don't even care about this if they get restored in a weird order. But here's what I'd like to do. What I'd like to do is take a picture of this. So it's Spirit Caller on the left, Mage on the right. We save, we load. Does it restore them like that? It does. Okay, so now let's start this again. We're going to put Spirit Caller, Paladin, Witch Doctor. So I open them up 1, 2, 3. So technically like that, right? Now we save and load. Good. All right, now I'm going to close the third one and save and load. That worked. Okay, now I want to close the second one. Save, load, close the second one. Should still have those. Save, load. Good. Okay, now I want to close the first one. So we got to redo this. Paladin. You go there. And you go there. So save, close the... No, wait, no, we need to load first. Then close the first one, save, load. Okay, it looks like this is working. I'm not actually totally sure how. How much compute does it take? I mean, it's a decent amount. A lot of this stuff takes place on the CPU that's happening here. But I think a lot of times with games like this, you're paying attention to them. So it's not such a big deal that they're using a lot of compute, as long as it doesn't lag. All right, so this looks like it's working. There was something else I wanted to test out here. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, test that fishing battles work. So this is done. This is done. And yeah, fishing battles. Let's go try that. So we need the fishing pond. Show signs. Click that. Click that. And go start a battle in the pond. Now save and load, and we should see 2 fish in there, I think. No, now there's 0 fish. Because the battle never ended. Oh, man. What do we do about that? I'm inclined to say we just ignore it. Yeah. Also, oh wait, I can just do this. Yeah. Okay, that worked. Yeah, I'm inclined to say we ignore that. Fish don't. Okay, so yeah, I guess like keep in mind that battles don't actually end when you save, and we don't save the battle state. This means mushy doesn't regenerate, and fish don't get put back in your pond. Now, if you did have, let's say, how many fish are here? Overflow fish eggs, 88. So if I save and load, it should go down to 79. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What? Save. If I X out of this and save and load. Uh-oh. We don't save overflow values? That's news to me. Oh my god, we don't. Wait, no. Wait, overflow is based on the accumulated values, isn't it? It's not? No, it is. Uh-oh. What's happening here? 4550. I think this is broken. Yeah, I think this is broken. Okay, let's write that down. Well, I don't think overflow seeds and eggs restore correctly. So test that fishing battles work. That's fine. Test what happens when you don't have this in your save file. Yeah, what happens? So we delete this, and this. And I guess just everything else that I had here too. And now we load the game. And it's probably going to break. Surprisingly, it didn't. Why didn't it? Because this is set to none. Interesting. Okay, so this covers two cases. The case where you didn't have this data in your save file because the save version was an old save file without this information in it at all. And two is the case where you didn't have an ongoing battle for this instance slot. Oh, you know what? I did not test that part. What happens if you had a battle and you just had auto repeat off and it was just sitting there, like you fled and I save and load? I don't think it's going to restore this. And I think that's okay. Oh, it did restore it because you didn't close a window. You know what? I'm just going to say that's fine. If you have a battle that you fled or turned off auto repeat for, it'll try. Oh, wait, though. This is going to cause a problem, won't it? Because then you could be in two battles at once, couldn't you? And I'm glad I just thought of this because I really want to test this. All right, so we flee that battle. Then we start another battle with the mage. It did not put this in the right. Oh, no, I deleted that. And then I flee this battle and I save. And now if I load, I think it's going to try putting both of them into battles. It probably just failed. Exception thrown, system.object disposed exception. Yeah. That's not good. I accidentally left the door to my office closed last night. It was like 9,000 degrees in here because of my personal PC and laptop. But isn't it cold outside? Didn't you say there was a bunch of snow? Can you open a window? We're about to head out the door, telling you there's a worldwide software outage. Oh no, Rami. I was actually thinking about you this morning. Has there been any update from the HR process that you started? As we hit continue, and then we should see some details about this issue that happened. We don't? What's that object dispose exception then? That doesn't seem good. Maybe it only happens on debug speed up. No, it didn't happen at all. Strange. Had a combo. I'll give you an update later. Okay, yeah. So I have no windows in their basement office. But don't you have a power drill? You could just make your own window. A very tiny window where you can catch droplets of water on your tongue. It'll cool you off in 2 ways. All right, so is auto repeat on? All right, I think this feature is pretty much done. Yeah, you know, I do have my desk facing the window now. So it's like me and then camera, which you can see as I'm moving my hand closer to it. And then beyond it is the window. But I don't really ever open the curtains. Probably should. Should probably just put them on some automated thing. And if you have multiple... If you have an adventurer in multiple such battles, it won't create the second window. Shouldn't it fail or something? Like, shouldn't this try to do this in here? Create walking instance. Why doesn't this cause a problem? I don't understand. Something knows that this is not an issue. Hey, Campbell Soup. Huh. Huh, indeed. Okay, let's close everything else that we have open here. And go back to the save file, which I apparently can't do now. This uses the same adventure in both of these, but one of them's not going to work. How does it know that it doesn't work? Because I don't see any code in here that does that. Create walking instance. Create or get instance slot. Oh, there we go. Close slots containing adventures. If adventure count is 0, no adventures available. So it must be in here. So let's just delete the other thing that I had. Yeah. And then we'll go start this up. Basically extra insulated. Ah, I see. I guess, yeah. I guess the moral of the story is turn off your computers. All right, so just break in. This is the first time. I don't care about the first time, but the second time. So now here we are in the second time. Now what happens? Now we go through each thing and check if they can start battle, and they cannot. So now what do? We close the instance slot they were in. So the first window is open, but I bet if I rearrange these, it'll be the other window that's open. So if I put this up here, and we put a comma there and delete it from here, and now I load this. Did it work? Yeah, okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. Well, let me make certain. It should be that the second one is what works. No, somehow it's the first one that works. Wait, no, it is the second one that works. That one's farther to the right. Yeah. It will close. It will only use the latest instance that has that party. So this is like a best effort kind of thing. it should ideally not cause any problems. So now let me show the actual scenario that people are in to cause this to happen. No, that's not it. Oh, I didn't save. I closed this, right? But I didn't hit save. No, I did hit save. Uh-oh. Is it because it's still in the save data? It probably is. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? All right, so I close this. I hit save. We look at our save file. We still have both of these. Instance ID is still set to 1 here. Oh, man. So I think we'd have to stop this from being in the save data. Or when you disable auto repeat, we say don't restore that window. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. If not slot.auto repeat. Actually, here's what we do. Okay, and we need to write a comment for that. I'll put this here, like instance, next instance ID. It's got to be all of this. Let me put this here. And then we write if, no, that can't be right because the battle might be ongoing. We need to know if the battle was like totally stopped. How do we know that? I think if the repeat button is enabled, but we need to know on the end battle screen, right? I don't like this idea. So it's if you're looking at the end battle screen and nothing's happening, just don't save that you had a battle ongoing because you didn't really. We can make a Boolean for this. Like imagine that I had one already. Is about to battle. And let's just say this is false or something like that. So this would be slot.is about to battle. Cool, otherwise nothing. So if the player is just sitting on the end battle screen with no intent to battle again, don't save. Don't save. Or like save instance id.none so that it's like, so that we don't restore. Load the game as though a battle were happening. This prevents you from trying to load an adventurer into multiple battle windows. Hey, Tim, long time no see. I'm doing pretty well. We're close to the launch of Skeleseller. And I have a lot of things I still want to do. But yeah, what's been new with you? All right, so if we're going to do this, we would need to write out this is about to battle. So I guess you're about to battle if walking to portal is not null or the instance is not null. Is that right? Hey, Kurohige. That's exciting. It is, yeah. Just on a 1.5 month USA trip. Cool. Where'd you go? And what'd you think? Okay, this is harder than I thought. Yeah, this is harder than I thought. Because we need to know if a battle is ongoing. Can we know that? Is there like a has ended here? Has battle ended, here it is. Instance is not null and instance dot. Or that the end battle screen is not null and is auto battle on. Auto repeat. Or that they're walking to the portal from the end battle screen. Is there some concept of that here? Is walking to portal? There is. So I'd have to make this public. Or end battle screen dot is walking to portal. Okay. This is a mess. Seattle area, great area. Definitely such a different culture, but impressive. You came to my area and you didn't tell me about it? Disappointed, Timon. We could have met up. Could have talked about A Link to the Past in person. Well, anyway, I'm glad to hear you had a good time. Out of curiosity, what led to it being 1.5 months long? Did you stay with someone you knew? Yeah. Game dev journey ends in 2 months, then back to real job, huh? No, I plan on starting another game if I end Skeleseller, which I might not end Skeleseller for some time. Still catching up on the VOD from yesterday. I wanted to ask you a question about the new game. You gonna use Godot? Yeah, I'll try. I'm gonna use Godot again. Hey, Cuddlefish. Visit your partner. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, nice. Well, next time you're in town, let me know. Looking forward to what you come up with next. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I have some ideas of how to make it work. And I think it'll be interesting to try out. You come to my area? You on my turf? Did I give you permission, Timon? To enter my territory? Yeah. Out of curiosity, is your partner a streamer? Is there like any chance I would have watched them? I assume that even if they are a streamer, that they probably stream a video game, and I don't really watch a lot of game streamers. Oh, Mitch, thanks for gifting that sub. Wow, 3 months too. Yeah, very nice of you. So this is just for the sake of saving stuff? Okay. So this indicates that a battle will happen in this instance slot, as opposed to the player deciding that they no longer want to battle, meaning they're looking at the end battle screen, but nothing is happening there. So technically what we could have done is just checked, are you looking at the end battle screen and is nothing happening there? Like, I could probably simplify this entire thing to is about to battle is the opposite of the end battle screen not being, this is a more confusing condition, I think. And auto repeat is off and you're not walking to the portal. Is that right? So as long as you're not looking at the battle screen with auto repeat off and you're not walking to the portal. Yeah, so we could change this condition now and say you're about to battle if the end battle screen is null, or that auto repeat is on, or this. So now that should be a pretty clear condition, right? If you're not at the end battle screen, then something must be about to happen. Or auto repeat is on and you're on the end battle screen, or you're walking to the portal and you're on the end battle screen. Yeah, that is much simpler to understand, I think. Oh, cool. I'm guessing SM means Super Metroid. I wonder if she got you into Super Metroid. I'm going to write this down. Yeah, neat. Yeah, my wife recently found an article about, like, I don't know, quality of living in US cities. And I imagine that no matter what you do here, some of this is subjective unless you objectively rank all the different metrics and can somehow trust all the metrics that you're getting. But I forgot what was number one. I think it was somewhere in Michigan. And number 2 was Seattle and number 3 was San Francisco. But this is in some list that she found. But regardless of the list, I always kind of feel like there is a lot going on here that is nice. It's a pretty temperate climate. I don't want it to be super hot. I don't mind the cloudiness or anything or drizzling rain. That's all fine. There's a lot of like restaurants and events and opportunities. There's like, decent transit. It's not necessarily the best. And there's a whole bunch of other things. I guess there's a whole lot of nature stuff that you can do. If you just recently visited, you probably didn't get to do anything nature-y outside of like winter sports sort of things like skiing or snowboarding, I'm guessing. Summers are gorgeous in Seattle, but don't tell anyone. I think they're too hot now. All right, so this indicates that battle will happen, as opposed to the player deciding that they no longer want to battle. Okay, so now let's test this out. There's a game that had an exposed API for machine learning. I think the problem is that games that do that, it has to be the gimmick of the game, in which case they're made solely for like programmers. And if you make a game solely for programmers, I think you're drastically limiting your audience. I also actually kind of wonder. Yeah. I mean, I guess AI could change that a little bit, but probably you'd want your own strategy to develop somehow, and AI would maybe override that. Watch Pokemon being played like that was cool. Yeah, I think there are some cool things you can do, but I think if you were a game developer and you were making that sort of thing, it'd be very difficult to have it work. And I've thought a lot about this. I spent many, many years of my life working on some incarnation of Botland, which at its core is an automated game via scripts. And this concept of the via scripts part is like, it's got to be pretty understandable. What's that game about, like, replace the farmer? The farmer was replaced, yeah. This game is a pretty understandable game and did pretty well and has coding in it. But the entire game takes place on this tiny grid. So it's like, you don't play against other players. You can understand as you're going through these things what's going on. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, the game, like, I guess the game does get a little bit bigger, but presumably it only gets bigger at the time when you can handle that complexity. But yeah, and then there was that game about, like, HR assembly game. What was that called? What was that called? Someone know what I'm talking about? Maybe it wasn't about HR. Assembly coding game, Steam. Maybe it wasn't even about assembly code. Maybe, I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, yeah, so some games have managed to do this, but I think they have to be small enough in scope and pretty, like, approachable. Was it violent? If only. All right, so let's just make a new game here. So I want to just test this. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that. I'll just load the game then. Okay, so what I want to test out is this. We have a battle with the mage that we have fled. And then we have another battle with the mage that we have fled. And then we save and load, and now nothing should get restored. Yeah. But if we had one that we fled and one that was still ongoing, and we save and load. So now it restores it, but to the wrong slot, which is probably fine. I'm not going to worry about this too much. Although I do kind of wonder what would happen if we did this now. And then we close out of that, save and load. I don't know how that works, but whatever. It's fine. Hey, Codex. Play as an AI and just feed the weirdest prompts. I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, every once in a while you see a game that is semi-educational. Like there are those CSS... never played this, so I don't remember enough about how it was. It was like reproduce this thing using CSS or something. Anyway, I could see a prompt injection game being kind of interesting, and I have seen a game like that online, but something more in the context of a video game world. Like, I don't know, it's a first person shooter and you give it a prompt saying like, I am invincible to all damage or something. And now you become, yeah, like CSS battles is probably what I was thinking of. But yeah, this prompt injection thing could be like, yeah. Anyway, this is actually kind of similar to the game I want to make next. It just doesn't have to do with AI. But it's more like, let's subvert as many expectations as we can. And I have a lot of ideas with that. All right, so looks like this is working pretty well. Flatter turned off. So now it won't try restarting that battle. It's not common toward the end of the game for people to be in that situation. Okay. Well, I think we're good now. All right, let's go delete a bunch of stuff, right? Oh, man. So we don't use this ever, right? Yeah, we don't. So we delete it. So it's the first Boolean. Let's remember that. So we get rid of this. And same thing down here. Get rid of this. We always save off none. Closing the slot. Means we shouldn't restore a battle when loading. And then I said, let's save this off, but what's in common here? So we have that, and we have... Where's the other one? Here it is. We have that, and we have that. So that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. The instance ID is different. Yeah, okay. So I think this should be moved. So let's put this in here. Public instance slot saved status. We just say call this save data, or do we already have a save data somewhere? No, we have just that. Okay, so now how do we do this? We just do new like so. We get rid of all these slot dots that we have here. And slot position, what is that? Okay, so we can't exactly fill that in. All right, maybe I did this stupidly then. Maybe that this is where we should put this function. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Get slot save data. So what do we have to pass in for this to work? An ID. Okay. Proper heads down play with Claude Code. Took a Swift project, asked it to take all the use cases, all uses of a futures library, converted to modern async await, modified 218 files, and it had to fix 230 files by hand. Did you test it on like a small subset of that first? Was it able to do any of it correctly? Writing the AI part of my game in C# due to how complex it's getting and the limitations of GDScript. Yeah, so someone shared a video. I can't remember which video it was. It was either Matt who shared a video with me or it was Flair who shared it, I think. But anyway, someone shared a video of Chris Sikowski talking about some of the changes to Steam that were coming in 2025. So this video was made in like March of last year. So it's about a year old. And one of the things he talked about is like demos are just super important for game devs. And he also said your demo should be on the web and not necessarily require a download. If you're using C# and Godot, you can't do this right now. Like web export is, I guess you could say, broken. It literally will not work. You can't do it. But they're working on it and eventually it'll get fixed. And I was thinking, how important is it for this part, like that it's on the web? How many people thought, oh man, Skeleton looks cool, but like I'm not at my gaming computer now. But if they went to skeleseller.com and it was just like, oh, play it right here, and you just click the button, would they be like, oh, yeah, I'll try this out? So yeah, I do wonder how much that would have impacted things. Wasn't able to cope with the nuance of various code blocks and larger, more complicated files. So do you think in the end that it saved you time or no? Wanted the web export, but ultimately there were other issues. You want to have two builds going. Yeah. Yeah, the different builds thing I think is important if you're going to have a demo at all. And at some point I might need to still further change the demo of Skeleteller. For mobile phone, yeah, but I assume mobile support. I think there are a lot of people who are on a desktop computer who, if they just didn't have to download anything, they'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll try this game. Like, I do think that's a non-zero audience, and it's not trivial. All right, so let's go find where I do this stuff. So this is if slot is not equal to null. Don't we know that it's not null at this point? I think this is a waste of time. I'm not doing this. Yeah, let's just get rid of what I had written there. So this is correct, but walking the portal doesn't know about this. So yeah, we don't have a problem there now. Create the window with the adventurers. Clarify that to list is to, yeah, okay, so. Run concurrent modifications. Old save file without this information in it at all. And the case where you didn't have an ongoing battle for this instance slot. Cool. We don't need that. So we don't need that either. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Probably save me a week. So worth the use, gaining the experience and limit bounds. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm like paralyzed right now because I'm thinking of so many emotions that are going through my head. I'm very excited about the Skeleteller launch, but I'm also excited about the next game and just sort of the prospects of that. And it's nice to be in this situation, to like what you're doing and to like what you're about to do. But there's also a lot of terror behind the Skeleteller launch. What if things don't go well, or what if, I don't know, I mess something up, or people aren't happy with the game, or they don't like the price or something. Anyway, the reason this all came up from your message is because I do want to use AI more for the next game, just to kind of see, does it improve my speed? Because one of the things I think about is that Skeleteller will have taken almost exactly 2 years to make. And I was working on this full time, and there were other people working on it. So it's not like it was just me, and it's not like I was just doing this as a hobby project. And I don't mean to trivialize what other people have done. Like, I don't think Skeleteller could be where it is without the help of the other people who've helped on this. And again, for people who are wondering about this, there's a credits page there. But for the next game, like, let's say this is successful, then great. Okay, 2 years well spent. Let's say it's not successful. I will still be proud of the endeavor, and I will still consider it to be a success on many fronts. But if commercially it fails, then it's like, well, I'd like to address this part of it, the 2 years part of it. So maybe I could make the next game in a year, or at least prove out the idea faster and kind of get better at this. Because remember that at the end of the day, like, I want to be a game dev and I have these tenets here. And the number one thing that I've been looking at every single week pretty much is sustainability. Like, can I continue this journey? Am I going to burn out? And I think one way to burn out pretty easily is to be like, okay, I spent 2 years on a game. Well, first of all, I spent 5 years on Botland, and it led to a commercial failure. So then I spent another 2 years on a game. We don't know what that's ended up being yet because it's not launched. So then if you're like, okay, well, I've spent 7 years and I haven't been successful, am I going to spend another 2 years again? And probably not. Most people would just be like, all right, I got to throw in the towel, or something's not working, or I got to try different things. So I'm hoping the game is a success, and also that I can learn from it and kind of iterate on the successes. And I got some, cool and wacky ideas, and I want to see how those play out. Hey, Tigan. Personally, I do connect web games with, not with big or quality games, even when I know that's possible. I suspect that I don't want to diminish your experience or your opinion here, but I don't feel like that's probably very common. Like the people who played Flash games, they would have had to play those games now, what, like 16, 17 years ago? So it's not like there's an influx of people who are like, oh yeah, I remember Flash games from a year ago or something. That's just not possible. The only way to do that now is to use like Flash emulators, and I don't know how common that is for people. So if you haven't played enough web games that have convinced you that they're worth playing, then it's like, yeah, okay, you might not be in the audience anymore, but that's probably a shrinking audience. Hey, Scottish Aviator. It's been a curious experience. I think I'm going to write a post about things learned and how I evolved my Git flow. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be learned there and a lot that it could improve workflows. So this is UID stuff. I don't want to touch this. I don't know why it changed. Did I even open this? I did. Oh, to take a look at the button that I had? Okay, whatever. I don't know. That doesn't matter. Now what about this? Is walking to portal is public, so I should really rename this now. Which is going to fight me on. I remember quality Flash games too. Yeah, I guess that's the other side of things. It's probably like, oh, it became more accessible, so there was a flood of games, and some were good and some were bad. Maybe most were bad. But I don't think that's too different from Steam, right? You've probably played some bad Steam games, which are not burned on Steam. By putting this here, am I going to have to move this? Yes. Wait, what? Hold on a second. Let me read that again. I want this to be get private set. Now it's saying that this needs to be down here. Okay, that should be fine. Well, almost fine. We'll get there. All right, cool. Anything else in here? This is just changing to the capitalization of this, which I could have, you know what I could have done and probably should have done is I probably should have just encapsulated this in some property that instances manager fetches from this code. Yeah, is about to battle. Is about to battle is an instance slot and checks the end battle screen. No, I guess this is fine. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Hey, Gal. Any wisdom or lessons you're willing to share from developing Botland? Oh, yeah, tons. I've got the whole postmortem here. And let me just make sure this has the lessons toward the end of this. I don't think there's a table of contents, is there? No, unfortunately. But yeah, so postmortem. Twitch, I cover some other things. Launch. Yeah, it's a pretty long post. I still think this is probably worthwhile to read. So yeah, summarizing it would be tough, but here I think the biggest lessons. Product market fit is super important if you're making a game for business reasons, and figuring out if you're making a game for business reasons versus passion, fun, learning is important. This is kind of true of anything that I ever say, which is you should figure out why you're doing it. And it's no different with games. If you're making a game as a passion project, do whatever you want, right? Because your only goal then is probably just fulfill the passion. But if you're making a game to be a business, you need to start considering, like, do people want this? Am I making a game that's better than other games out there? How am I marketing this? What's the price I need to make it at? How long is it going to take to make this? Is it monetarily viable? All those decisions factor into that. But I think the most important thing for games nowadays, a more algorithmically driven content sharing segment of Steam is a pool of games, YouTube is a pool of videos. Like, to elevate yourself up here is now sort of relying on algorithms more. Yes, you can rely on marketing to some extent, but usually you need resources for that. So it's like, well, number one is just make your product good, make your video good. Then the platform will push it more. That's why this is also important. And the other thing is, I think kind of like pieces of this. So it's like, figure out your MVP, get into an iteration loop that involves feedback. There's a whole bunch of stuff about feedback and how you should take it and how you should understand kind of where people are coming from. I think there's a lot of context there. I want to make a video about the evolution of Skeleseller. And I want to talk about how at each point along the way, can I show this? Let me see. Okay, how about this? I'll just share a picture of this. I'm not gonna actually open these documents right now because there's some personal information in here. But at each point along the way in Skeleseller, I had these feedback forms. This is my Google Drive, and this is just the form icon. So I had feedback for checkpoint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the weird thing here is that it was usually pretty positive, and I think that's just selection bias. Because I went back and looked at the idle ascendance feedback, and this was also pretty positive, but I don't think this would have been a good game to make. But then again, what do I know? More and more, I'm starting to realize someone wants to play the game that anyone is making out there. Now, granted, with some caveats, like there's got to be some level of polish. But we were talking about on stream, yesterday or a couple streams ago, that there are absurdly challenging or difficult or just tedious games that people will still play. Like they'll play, shiny Pokemon hunting where it's 3 years before you've assembled your team. Like 3 years. There's someone out there who's doing that. I actually just watched a video yesterday of someone who played Slay the Spire and was trying to find a way to beat the game without playing a single card. This is not the kind of thing most people would find fun, but someone does. And I actually kind of wonder how much have content creators thrown this off, because content creators need some new appealing thing, and maybe that's biasing everyone into thinking this stuff is more fun than it is. And then they try it and they're like, wow, this is tedious, but they are too influenced to know that it's tedious. Who knows? All right. This looks good. This looks good. This is not how this works. If this is none, we don't restore the battle. Players just sitting on the battle screen with no intent to battle again. Yeah. Okay. I think this is decent. I don't think it's the best code I've ever written. And there's one case we didn't test, which is this. What is this? Okay, so this is when you're in challenge mode. All right, let's go try this. Still running Superman 64. Speedrunning is kind of a weird beast because speedrunning a game rarely looks like the actual game anymore. Like if you look at a Breath of the Wild speedrun, yeah, they're still using all the same mechanics and stuff, but it's so different how they get around, how they get into places, like the order that they do things in. So that I haven't seen a Superman 64 speedrun, but I imagine it's not really a game at that point. It's just a set of button inputs. People aren't really paying attention to the game part of things. Okay, so we do this. Let's start a new game. How do we test this? Well, first, let's try the basic scenario of you open up a couple battles. In fact, it should already be saved. Yeah, so there's my battle over there. There's my battle, hopefully also on the right side and somewhere else over there. Yeah. So if I save this and load, it should load them all in. I'm going to hope that was correct. So sure. And if I stop the battles, so I stop the top two, now the cleric will probably appear in like battle window number 1, I think. Yeah, so they went to the middle one, I think. But it's the cleric, and yeah, that's good enough. I'm happy with that. I think it's fine. All right, well, that was pretty crazy. I thought that'd be a little bit easier to do. Save, battle, save ongoing. We're not really saving battles. Battle configurations, I guess. Often needed for Zelda games that are just insanely broken at times. Yeah, or games with arbitrary code execution. Like, why play the game when you can just code your jump directly to the credits? I like that speedrunning exists and that people like it. I have spent a lot of time in my life watching speedruns. So save ongoing battle configurations, fixes this. I'll write my main comments in that issue. Yeah, I don't think it's worth writing it in the commit message because then it's going to be lost to time. So this is the stuff we want to put over there. Copy, markdown. Oh, wait, no, I left out that bullet point. Okay, let's commit that. I stopped watching GDQ. I actually pretty much stopped watching speedrunning. I think a couple things changed. One is that with any game, there's going to be like major advancements at first, and then eventually it'll become a trickle of world records because you eventually get closer and closer to like the perfect run, and then eventually people redefine what perfect is because they find some new technique, but then again that trickle eventually happens. So yeah, the games I liked watching, like Super Metroid and A Link to the Past and Super Mario 64, there have probably been improvements since I last watched these runs, but yeah, it wasn't like, oh man, every single week they're setting new records and stuff. And then also, what else made me stop? Oh yeah, it's sometimes longer games like Super Mario 64 is a pretty long speed run. Sometimes runners would not be able to get a run going, so they just stop early on. What are the 70-star runs at now? Yeah, like 46 minutes. Yeah, so if someone makes a mistake 5 minutes in, they're just going to restart. It's like, well, if the run is 46 minutes, you're not going to see like minutes 30 onward a lot of times. Okay, so I just committed get log -1. I just committed this in a branch. I wanted to write some notes on this here. This is best effort. There are some cases that aren't perfect, but in general, this should make it easier for players to load from a save file and still have things work. Notes after implementing this. If you have a battle that you fled or turned off auto repeat for, it won't try restarting the battle. It's not common toward the end of the game for people to be in that situation, and it could potentially lead to having the same adventurer in multiple windows with no easy restore state. Keep in mind that battles don't actually end when you save the game. This means Mushy doesn't auto-regenerate. Not a big deal at all. Fish don't get put back in your pond. And yeah. And I'll say we don't save the individual battles themselves. Enemies, projectiles, etc. This just isn't worthwhile. What does our save slot thing look like? Yeah, so I just added in next instance ID is elite and adventurers. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that. So we just comment this and it'll get closed when I push. Yeehaw! And I guess I should probably put this there too, huh? Copy as markdown, delete that, go back into here, and write some little test cases that I had. Test cases that I had. There we go. Oh, thanks, Boston, for the bits. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. All right, so next bug. I don't think overflow seeds and eggs restore correctly. Yeah, this is unfortunate. I didn't even know this was a problem. And I guess it's not a big problem because in the game, the most valuable potion you can find is, well, actually, I guess it's Yeti blood. It's worth like 300 gold. But if you put that in the extractor, that would give you the most overflow fish, eggs, and seeds. And then they just get deleted. So how do we test this? I'm actually kind of curious how this is happening. I don't suspect this is going to be as tough a bug to solve as the other one. So let's load this. Hope that we have a farm and a fishing pond. We have the fishing pond at least. Oh, maybe it's only a problem with when you have the fishing pond but no farm. Let's add the farm in and then try this. All right, so now it says 96 and 100. We save and we load, and it says 96 and 99. Interesting. I don't know why that went down by 1. Save and load. 96 and 98. What is going on here? It keeps dropping by 1. Huh. That's funny. You have errors in your log. These don't disturb you. This one does. Actually, this does too. Yeah, I didn't see these. I should definitely take a look at this. Thanks for pointing that out, Free Africa. Look through these errors. Okay, so we got a couple things we got to look through. I think it requires having the farm for the overflow eggs to get restored. And the eggs seem to drop by 1 every time. All right, well, let's figure out what's going on there. So we go to extractor, save data, accumulated values, and then we have a load from save data. So it's here. So we just put a breakpoint there and try loading. Oh, I closed the game. All right, so what values were in our save file? Accumulated values. Here it is, 192 and 4900. So 4900 means we should be at 98 fish eggs. So if I just hit play and then look at this, 97, then I hit load game again. Does it say 97 again? Yeah, it's always gonna say 97. Okay, so it's dropping by 1. Now, why is that happening? None of that should matter. This definitely matters. So at the end of this, the accumulated value should be exactly what we saw in the save file. 4,900 and 192. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay. So then we try using accumulated value. First of all, are those still the same? Yep. And then this must be what's breaking. Update seed count. If the farm is null, don't do anything. Otherwise, try giving seeds 0 and subtract the amount that we gave, which does nothing. And update fish count is number of fish that can be added. Oh, the fishing pond doesn't exist yet. So we get to this again later, which now isn't going to work because I accidentally pressed Command D. Thankfully, it's not hard to repro this. You just load a game. All right, so second time we get here. Fishing pond is currently null. We get to here again, though, and now it should be set. Still not set. Now it's set. All right, so fish to give. Num fish that can be added is set to 1. Why? Max fish minus fish count. Max fish is presumably 3. Doesn't exist. Oh, because I'm not in the pond. Whoops, right. Okay, sure. So fishing pond.max fish, this should be 3, and then fish count should be 2. Something didn't load correctly then. Yeah, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, I see. This didn't load properly. Oh, I didn't know this was a problem. So yeah, whenever we create the pond, we create it with 2 out of 3 fish. So then the extractor is like, oh, that means you can put another fish there. So then it tries creating another fish, even though there's no reason for it to. So we need this to not cause We didn't need to not do this in it. Set number of fish. Does this try using that? No, this doesn't update max fish. Wait, none of these actually do the thing that I'm looking at. What calls that then? Okay, so the town loads the pond by creating it and then calling .load on it. Creating it makes the pond with 2/3 fish. So then something's updating this. I still haven't figured out what. Oh, I see. Which calls unlocked fishing pond. Okay, gotcha. Then invokes this, which goes into extractor.set fishing pond. This then tries using the accumulated value. Interesting. Why do we do that at all, though? Why is this even here? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, there are a couple things that are going to make this a little bit difficult, huh? Where's set fishing pond here? And I said there were two places. Unlocked fishing pond sets it. That makes sense. And then it's also done from load from save data. Wouldn't this happen twice then? I think it would. I don't know why this is... I think there are several problems here. Yeah, I think set fishing pond is called multiple times. All right, let me just print this out. Called at system.datetime. Or what, is there like some ticks thing? How do you get that? There's some tick count thing. Where's that come from? Huh. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Datetime.now.ticks. All right. I just want to see that this number increases. From 2016, yeah, that was the botland days. All right. So if I just play this, get rid of this, get rid of the other thing. Yeah, it gets called twice. How fun. Oh, boy. So then isn't this unnecessary? I think this is unnecessary. So now it'll only get called once. It should still work. I think it's still going to try using one of the extra fish eggs. So what does it show? Yeah, just called once now. And what's this at? Yeah, 97 still. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. So this is coming from set fishing pond. We could just get rid of this maybe. I'm not even sure. And then just don't call it when we're loading. But yeah, this fixes it. This might be fine. Did it work? It did work. Okay. So what happens when you build this the very first time? You shouldn't even have accumulated value. Can you accumulate value if you don't have it? Max fish value allowed? Yeah, I don't think it's even possible. I don't know how that happened. And loading from save data shouldn't matter here. Yeah. Huh. So why is this function... I guess we should also say in fishing pond is null. Okay. That works. All right, so that should fix everything, right? Let's go try a couple things. Let's try building the fishing pond normally. And using the accumulated value? I'm not sure about that second part. So we build the fishing pond. It's at 2 out of 3. Our extractor says we're at 0 eggs. If I save and load this, so that stuff should be the same. Yeah, we're 2 fish out of 3, 0 eggs. Now if I right click this, we get 100 eggs and then we use 1. So now we're at 3 out of 3 and we have 99 remaining eggs. If I save and load this, should be the same state, 3 out of 3. We ended up with 0 eggs. Okay, so this is the other problem. This is the one where if you don't have the farm, it doesn't seem to restore eggs. But we've already fixed one issue, so we should probably check this in on its own. That way we don't have to untangle this stuff later. Yeah. So fix bug with like overflow eggs. The fishing pond would get created with 2/3 fish and then try using the overflow eggs, thus removing 1 fish from you, or 1 egg from you. Wait. What if you were at... Hang on a second. Let's just start a new game because it's easier to do this way. What if you're at 1 out of 3 fish, or even 0 out of 3? So let's just kill one of these things. This is going to be hard to do because they're going to try to die at the same time, aren't they? I need to stop it as soon as just one dies. I should just put the rogue into the battle. There. Okay, so now I save and load, and now we should have 1 fish. It's... Oh, right. No, it's 0 because of a different thing that I just coded. Okay, fine. Then we need to do it this way. We just make some items and put them in here. We're at 12%. So we're going to need a whole lot of potions. What are we at now? 48%? Seriously. All right, well. 84. And there we go. Okay, so we got 1 fish in the pond. Now we save and load. And we still have 1 fish in the pond. Okay, yeah, that's working. All right. So fishing pond would get created with 2 out of 3 fish and then try using the overflow eggs. All right, so when loading from a save file, not only did I fix this, but I now no longer call set fishing pond twice in the loading scenario, meaning we don't call fish count changed to listeners. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's done. Let's go take a look at the next problem, which is we have a bunch of overflow and we load and then it's set to 0. This is what I originally set out to solve before realizing there was another problem. So we just go look at load from save file, put a breakpoint there, and load the game. And it didn't get hit at all. I guess that's our issue? Seriously? The farm is responsible for loading the extractor? No, it's not. Is the order wrong? Yeah, if farm save data is not null, then load the extractor. Interesting. That's a mistake, isn't it? In fact, there's even extractor save data here. Yeah, this is just a mistake. All right, so if save data dot extractor save data is not null, there, that should fix the problem. Well, that was easy. So I just do continue game and it works, right? Nope, everything broke. Because what, it assumes that the farm exists? Town line 948, which is this. Oh, because the extractor hasn't been created yet. Ah, we got to do it after the fishing pond. My bad. Yeah. Okay. This might cause an ordering problem. Well, let's find out. I don't care about the breakpoint here. Just did it work? Yes, it did. All right, so that was pond without farm. Now what about farm without pond? So we have 96 overflow seeds. Save, load. Yep. And now what about both? Wait, we had overflow here? So creating the pond should try using the accumulated value as long as you're not loading from a save file. Is that possible in the real game? Because I just cheated to do that. But what if I didn't cheat? What if we did this and add a bunch of workers? All right, so we're going to bring this stuff over here. And then we're going to grow all of this. I need them to get a bunch of potions in here. That's probably good enough. So now when I make the pond, we should have some overflow in there. No, we don't. There's no way to get overflow if you don't have the pond, unless you cheat. That's what it seems like this is doing. Because I have some like right click. Yeah, so this just explicitly sets it for the pond, whether or not you have the pond. But otherwise, I don't think it's possible to do that. I think I looked at this already. Where do we increase this? Oh, full potions can increase it too. Max fish value allowed. This checks to see if you have this or sets it to 0. Yeah, I don't think this should be a problem. Okay. So we fix a bug there. Fix bug with overflow eggs. If you only had the pond but not the farm, overflow eggs would get saved as... Overflow eggs would get set to 0 on save. Well, not really. Would get loaded in as 0, overriding what was saved. This is because we... Well, I'm not going to write what it's because of, because it's literally one line of code that I changed, right? Yeah. Well, pretty much. Okay, so that's done too. So those are finished, right? This is done, this is done, this is done. Yeah. Now look through these errors. Okay. All right, what do we got? So this came from battle system line 250 or 523. And what about this one? Same thing, cannot access a supposed object. It's the battler. Huh. Hey, Pillar. Yeah, I've been back for a little bit. I'm only streaming in the mornings. By the way, the best way to find out that I'm streaming is to be in the Adam Learns Discord. And there's a... How do you do this? Channels and roles. Yeah, here it is. In channels and roles, under customize, do you want to be notified when Adam starts to stream? You just click yes here, then content announcement should tag you. Also, did I... Hang on one sec. I think I just accidentally marked a message as read that I didn't actually read. I don't know how to get back to that. Huh, strange. I don't know where that was. No. Oh, I see. Gotcha, filler. Yeah, what brings me back? Um, I I felt weird about being off stream for as long as I was, but now that I'm streaming again, I feel like this is not the best use of my time. What I'm doing here, I feel like I need to create a lot of content and reach out to a lot of people. Then again, the things that I've done even this morning have been pretty good and worthwhile. So I don't know. I'm very torn. All right, this is probably tough to figure out. How's the feedback on the beta, by the way? And hey, I'll Twitch that. So I will just make a new game. We shouldn't have any problems here. And then I start a battle and we just save and load and it happens? No. What if I X out of this? No, still fine. I wonder how I caused this problem. Maybe it's having multiple windows. Maybe it's in bone mode. Continue game. Save and load. Save and load. Okay, there we go. We're running into some exceptions there. I guess it's just unloading. It's not telling me where that's coming from though. But I think if I did this in Godot, it would tell me. And we're leaking a bunch of allocations now. Wow, fun stuff. I probably just caused this, but who knows? So I felt back in the days when I tried to stream again. Yeah, when dev tasks are the most important, I think streaming is actually a good thing. I think marketing tasks might be more important now. Found your video about AI interesting. Do you think you enjoy the act of coding itself more than the building things, perhaps? That's how I was interpreting your remarks about agentic coding. The agentic coding thing was just, I haven't done it a lot. And it's not really for any particular reason, just that I got set in my ways of doing things for right now for this project. But for the next project, I'll probably use it more and more. As far as the coding versus building, I just saw this comparison on Hacker News this morning that builders are just people who want the thing done. So they are more willing to accept AI than the coders who actually enjoy the act of coding things. I do enjoy coding from time to time, although not the grunt work as much. But I at least think when it comes to agentic AI, it wasn't necessarily a difference between these two things. And sometimes there are cases where I just want something available. I want it built. And one-off tools are a great example of that. I think reading chat is too distracting when you're trying to work. Not necessarily, or at least not such that it's disadvantageous for me to be streaming. Like there are a lot of advantages to streaming. So I still reap those even if the day-to-day productivity might be slightly lower. It's like, well, I'm usually at least working for longer. I get ideas from chat. I stay sane because of chat. Lots of performance issues, lots of bugs. One guy tried accessing from China, and while the game loaded, it did take a while. Wow. Need the same guy to test again with the same computer, making progress. Wow. Yeah. Well, sounds like you're very busy. Probably exciting, though. Find it interesting to watch you try a more agentic workflow for a day. Yeah, the only time I really did that on stream was when I was making the metrics server. And I pretty much just said, hey, can you make a Python server that's going to take a JSON file in and save it to a database? And it did. And it was great. And it took hardly any time. And I imagine that that probably took me, let's say like 30 minutes. I don't know. I'm just estimating. But I think it would have taken me probably at least 3 hours. So I think it saved me quite a lot of time. All right. So yeah, we have a lot of issues here. And I was hoping that by loading this through Godot, that I could see these with a stack trace. How does this happen? I just had to hit load game. Maybe I had to close this and then hit load game. Or save and then load. Now it's not happening at all. What's going on? Huh. Yeah, huh. Maybe it had to do with continuing a game over here and then being in a different mode entirely. Man, nothing's triggering this now. I don't know what's happening. Strange. Well, I know for sure that it happened over here, so we just need to figure out what I did, which I don't know. I don't know what I did. Yeah. I can't figure this out. I don't know how I reproed this. All right, so I quit. Does it say a whole bunch of stuff about... Doesn't say anything. Strange. I don't know what's going on here. I should probably pay attention to... Whoops, I didn't mean to close that. I should probably pay attention to what I'm doing. Like, let's write a set of repro steps maybe. And maybe it'll make it easier to find this. What's going on? Hey, Boem. More to let it loose on your Skeleteller to-do list and see how it goes? Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I said, I'll probably try it for the next game, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I should reduce that time so much just due to reducing research time. Yeah. I think it'll help for learning a new code base, finding out where things are, how they work. Signed a publishing agreement for the farming game with someone who has access to streamers. Smaller streamer has about 500,000 subscribers. Wow. That's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Yeah. Like I said, exciting stuff. It's nice that the stuff you're building is coming to fruition. What is causing this? It's not even happening anymore. Like, I must have done something. I don't know what it was. I thought it was just like you save, you load. That's what was eventually happening. Maybe there was a race condition. Like you win the battle and then you save and load. I don't think that was what happened anyway. Maybe we save after closing. No. Well, let's look through this again and see if we can find it through just code inspection. So this is that a battler was already disposed and we tried disposing them. We tried freeing them. So how is that possible? Battlers summoned and removed battlers. Removed battlers are when the battle has ended. And dispose could get called rather abruptly if we're loading the game. Probably can't preempt individual functions though. No, it happened inside of input. Huh. I don't see why this could be a problem. We already disposed something. Battlers just summoned. The only thing I can think is that there'd be like a 1-frame race condition here that could happen where we call remove battler. So this thing is already being tracked now, but before this thing can free, I load the game. But how could this happen consistently? I guess it doesn't need to happen consistently, but it did happen twice here. And it was across different loads. Yeah, these are pretty much the same thing. All right, take care, filler. Hey, Ski. Could it be related to a specific adventure? Not sure I see you doing anything different from broken and not broken other than that. I don't think it's a specific adventure. I think it is... Oh, let me write this down. So what must be happening here? The battler must be getting freed before battle system.dispose is called. And then battle system.dispose is called. So this could happen. The latter happens on loading the game. And maybe also closing the window. I don't know about closing the window. Let's just try that out. I'll just put a breakpoint there and we'll close the window and see what happens. Well, first I gotta make the window. Oh, it gets disposed even when you start the battle. And then when you close the window, it gets disposed. And then presumably also on loading the game. I need a battle going for that. I don't have one going. So we do this, it breaks in, I ignore that. Then we load the game and it should probably break in again. Yeah. So loading the game does it because we just crush our entire scene that we had. All right, so it's 3 different cases. The latter happens on loading the game, starting a new battle, and closing a battle window. Hey, Karada. Hey, Paj. And hey, Smack. We got errors. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I already answered that, but yeah, trying to figure out these already disposed exceptions. So the thing is, we need to have someone in either battlers just summoned or removed battlers. And the just summon bit is only literally when you call summon, right? Oh, which I guess could play into what Ski said because the witch doctor summons. Interesting. Okay, let's try that. But they don't summon within the first like half second of a battle. So what, I save this and then load? And then close this and load? I think they need to use this faster, but it is possible that I just timed this. So here, I guess here's the easiest way to test this out. Let's just never summon the actual character. We'll just add them, but we'll never do anything about it. Yeah, add summon battlers. This will just never actually happen. And then we'll change summon zombie so that it happens after a very short amount of time. Where is it? Yeah, start a battle with this ability almost ready. So cooldown -1. Let's set it to just cooldown so it uses it immediately. Okay, that should test it. So we're going to start a battle with a witch doctor. They're going to summon, well, they're going to try to summon immediately, but we don't actually add them to the battle. So then when we close the battle, it's going to try to free that entity. This is not the witch doctor. Where is the witch doctor? Okay, so that should be it. Now we save this and then load. And hey, look at that. So wait, was I testing this with a witch doctor originally? Do you remember that, Ski? Because yeah, that's kind of crazy. And it's only when we load. This doesn't happen when we... So what if I clear this? This doesn't happen when we just like close the... Oh, okay, that messed up. I just assume you selected different ones. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'll give you a point for that anyway. I think it's worthwhile. Is it specific to this because of the summons? It's not necessarily specific to this, but it's just easier to repro this, I think. Oh, and it happens even here. Wow, this means I did something stupid. How is this even possible, though? We don't add the battler to the battle. Yeah, something unusual is going on here. Let me take a look at this. So first of all, let's start with summon zombie. Let's just go from there. This eventually calls summon in the battle system. Where's that? Right there. Summoned by enemy ID. Okay, cool. So we're in here now. And we get a battler. We add it to a list, but not into the scene. And then that's it. We don't do anything. Do we do anything with it here? Nope. So it is currently not in the scene tree. In fact, we can verify that. You can just do this and then start a battle with them. And I'm going to do summon.getParent, and this should be null. Okay, that's unexpected. What? Yeah, what? What is that? Hidden battler node? What? Okay. You're going to need to explain yourself, code. Hidden battle node. Well, I did not know that was a thing. Why did I do that? Sometimes when adding battlers, we have to defer their addition to the battle for summons. However, we still need them to be in the scene tree so that their ready functions run. Okay, well, that caused the bug then. Yeah, that caused the bug. Whoops. Well, this is very easy to fix. So battlers just summoned. There, done. All right. Hey, Dev Dad. Repression, you see someone coding by hand still as opposed to AI? I mean, just to be clear here, there is still Copilot being used. Like, if I type out a line like hash set, or even just that, and then just nothing. Okay, well, apparently not nothing. Okay, well, that's making a fool out of me, but I do have Copilot for autocomplete. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Nice try. I'm just trying to show that this thing works. All right, so we don't. Oh wait, we can test this now. The summon dot parent. Oh no, this didn't. I didn't change anything here. This doesn't matter. But now, so there are a bunch of like fake zombies in here, and when I close this, it shouldn't cause an error. Yeah, it did not. So that is very likely what happened. Ski definitely deserves a point for that. And the only other question is, what about removed battlers? But I'm pretty sure there's no way to get someone into removed battlers without actually removing them. So we add them here, and we sure enough remove them from here. So yes, they're not in the scene tree when they're in this thing. So then maybe it's worth adding a tiny little comment to this. No, not there. Maybe this. Should be added when we're no longer doing over the battle list. These are always in the scene tree. No, that's not even true. Oh, God. No, wait, yes. Everything in here would always be in the scene tree. Yeah. C ref equals that. I should say elements of this. No, just these is probably fine. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know for sure that was the only problem that we had. But I think that should have fixed everything. You write one for Botland and refine the designs. You have to spend some time thinking around through the design of it. I did write one for Botland. No, wait, no. I think I might have used one that was already made, or at least indexing was already done. I'm still very torn on how I've implemented the entity component systems that we've had for both games. Because in both cases, entities are just bundles of components, and the components don't know about the entities. And then the systems are for logic for those entities and components. And there are a couple of small issues. One is that the components aren't contiguous in memory. So you don't gain any benefit by iterating over all entities of the same component types, or that have the same component types. Another thing is that there's a lot of like specific behavior that ends up going into big systems. And I feel like it should be controlled by components that get added. And the final thing is that sometimes we break the pattern entirely and make specific classes. So as an example for this, like we have a customer class, and the customer class has its own state. It probably shouldn't, but it's kind of weird mixing some of this stuff. Like this all would have gone into a customer component. We'd be accessing it through a level of indirection for kind of no real reason. So I'm torn on some of what I did for this. I'm not sure. I need to analyze, like, was this a compelling enough reason? But yeah, it looks like this is fixed. So we can remove that. And this is the entire fix right here, right? Well, not that, but this part. And then clearly we should put this back to how it was. Fix bug with double disposing summons. So what was that commit where I added this? This is battle system. Battle system.cs. Blame. And then we go look at, what was it? To dispose. No, not suppose. Whenever I wrote the comment at the top for the hidden battle node. Yeah, here. Fill out story mode. Why'd I do this? This is probably some PR that's gonna, yeah. Ugh. No. I want to search the commits. So just give me from, wow, this is a lot. Okay, give me all of this. That was quite a lot. Oh my God, that's 554 lines of stuff. Just how many commits there were. And then look at summons. Yeah, fix bug and summon zombie. We were summoning a zombie based on the Witch Doctor's base power. No, that's not it. Or maybe it was that? Is there a way to narrow this down to the specific commit within a PR? Without me just clicking... Where is it? Not me clicking this and then looking through each individual commit. The 500 line commit is because it's a PR that had 124 commits inside of it. So each individual commit is actually very easy to understand. Like if I just click a random one like this. Yeah, this changed 2 lines of code. Oh man. All right. So how do I mean, was it this? No, it wasn't this. Git log follow cc-p file. Thank you. I will try that out. Battle system. There it is. Git log follow cc-p. Which probably before I do this, just look at follow. Continue listing history beyond renames. And then cc. Excuse me, where is this? What? Oh, here it is. Diff merges. Okay, yeah. And then what's the last one? Dash P. Where's dash P? Patch text. Okay, got it. Is that what that was? No, that was fill out story mode. I mean, let's just pipe this to PV copy. 13,000 lines. Oh God. No, it was in this. Oh, here it is. What commit is this? It's one of those two. So let's just click any of these things and then swap this out for here. Nope. Wait, no, I could do that, right? That doesn't work. I can't use the short hash for this, I guess. Can I do get log and then just the... I don't know what I'm doing. But I want to see the commit message of this. Because, yeah, this is when I added this, apparently. Oh, well. No, not oh, well. I would like to find this. There's probably an easier way to do what I'm trying to do then. Let's go back to... Where'd the blame go? Here it is. So it's definitely in here somewhere. You just search for it in the commit list. Problem is, I don't know what I use as a description for this. Like, what was I fixing here? Oh, you know what might be easier? No. No, yeah. What might be easier is checking to see when I added the hidden node. Oh, search for the hash. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. That should be very easy. Commit message should be just above the diff. But the commit message for the whole PR. So it is right above the diff, but it's like everything. So yeah, let's take a look. I think these might be the first and final commit messages. Where was it? Here. Or commit SHAs that we have. 15666. No, it's not apparently. 969 doesn't even show up. What is this diffing? 24BB. No, yeah, I don't see any of that. I did squash it, yeah. Do they get log on branch bosses on battle map? Oh yeah, that's a good point. But I don't want to actually switch right now. Well, let me finish writing this in here. Well, yeah, let me finish writing this. I guess I could clone the repo again. Don't need to switch. Oh, you can specify the branch inside get log. Get log origin branch. Okay, get log. Bosses on battle map. All right. So I should do this, right? Yeah. And then put this into PB copy. Then go take a look at that. And hidden battle node is right there. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, thank you both. I'll probably forget about all of this. All right, so now let's go look at this and just make sure it's correct. So I just click any commit and then type in the real commit hash. And this is what added this code in. Oh, that's strange. Maybe I picked the wrong one. I think I picked the wrong one. This is above where... No, maybe I just picked a random one. What am I doing? Yeah, no, I just picked a random thing. Okay, that's me being stupid. I gotta find out when I added this. There it is. Manifest has big sprite. Before this, we'd hard-coded is elite to true. What it should have been is has big sprite. Is this correct? Yeah, this is it. Because ready wasn't called because of the battler thing, right? Because we did something in here. I see. I remember this now. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, whatever. We got the commit hash. So let's just copy this and put it over to here. This bug was added in this once I broke the assumption that summons wouldn't immediately be in the scene tree. And what day was that? Because technically this has been a bug since then. November 13th. My goodness. Why do you like squashing the PR? You lose so much context. It's just something I got in the habit of a while ago, and now it's hard for me to remember my reasons for it. I think because a lot of the commits in a PR don't really matter. It all depends on people's coding styles, but like what I like to do is make commits that are meaningful at any point in time, and other people treat their PRs as being that meaningful block. So like I don't like having a buggy commit, but other people might be like, okay, well I got this function working and this function working, so I'll check this in and just be like, this commit is broken, but here are these functions, and then so on and so forth. And that's maybe what I was thinking way back when I started doing this. Method sounds like you'd be better with merge and commit. Well, so I'll say this. In this particular case, squashing made this harder to find the cause, but I could just take notes on this and then be able to find it pretty easily in the future, I think. Because I don't know if there's any other downside that I'm forgetting about here. Anyway, I'll just focus on the Scala stuff for now. So this should be working, and that should have fixed all of this stuff. And by the way, Free Africa, thank you for pointing out even that I had these issues because I didn't notice. I do wonder, and I really should. Okay, you know what? Let's just do this because otherwise it's going to drive me nuts. Let's just look at the stream and see how did I cause this? Where's the repro? This was too long ago. No, wait, no, it might not have been too long ago because I found this. Okay, you know what we could do? We could just search for, let's run this at like a super high speed. Search for when I was in the Google Doc typing the stack trace. I don't remember when it was in relation to when I was talking about idle ascendance. Nope, wait. No, it was after all this. Yeah. Ah, there. Look through those errors. It's already there. So we know that at whatever, is there a timestamp? There's no timestamp. At minus 50, we're already too late. If only I showed the Google Doc. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to find this. Because I'm only going forward by 10 seconds at a time. So if I only showed the Google Doc for 3 seconds, I might not find it by doing this. Also, if the thing doesn't update fast enough. Am I at minus 50 yet? No, I'm nowhere near it. Well, I'm near it, I guess. Was it on the list here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I just got done with this and I committed. And then, oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, what did I do that caused that? Oh, there are already bugs there. So it already happened. So we got to go back farther. Did I have the witch doctor in the battle? Oh, witch doctor. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah. So that's probably what happened. But then what? The battle starts and I got this within like one frame. No, it wouldn't be one frame. Oh, okay. I understand. Okay. Here's what I originally thought. My original thought was that there's a 1 frame window for this to happen because I didn't understand the bug exactly. Because what I thought was happening is we do like summoned battlers dot add the zombie that we have, and then it should get removed on the next frame. But that's not what's happening. The actual bug was that, whoops, I'm trying to type plane here. The actual bug was that it's in the scene tree. Wait, is it? Hang on a second. Let me just look at the code. So dispose, we used to have that in there. Battlers just summon. No, it would be a 1 frame problem, right? So does that mean that I slow this down? Hang on a second. I was just the cleric. And I quit the game and then it failed. Hang on. I don't think it would have reproed from this. Was the game running? No, the game was not running. So I started it. I started it right there. Hang on, I want to understand this. one of the policies I like to have is you haven't fixed a bug until you fully understood it. And I am not totally sure. It is possible that if there was a 1 frame window that I hit that 1 frame window. It is entirely possible. And I didn't notice this since November, so it's even likely that that's what happened. But I just want to see if it looks like I hit a 1 frame window. So what happened here, the way we'd be able to tell is we'd see a Witch Doctor battle start, which thankfully I'm not covering with my head. So it's this window. But there, I didn't even get into the battle. I saved and loaded. Everything was fine. So now I actually start the battle. And what has to happen is the zombie needs to... what's going to end up happening is I summon 2 zombies and then I like quit the battle or something. So yeah, see, there were only 2 zombies that got summoned there. So was there enough time? Let's just count the frames. Well, counting the frames is probably going to take a really long time. So I'll just hold down the key. 2, 3. No. We definitely didn't have enough time to summon another one. Unless... No, we didn't win the battle either. Have you used Beeline Reader? No, I haven't. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Looked like I was still on the stream. Could it be the opposite? Zombie died on the same frame that you ended the battle? No, because when a character is removed, they get removed to the scene tree at the same time they get added to the removed battlers. I think it has to be for summoned battlers. Summoned battlers. When does this happen? It's just on every frame. And when does this get added to? It's just on summon. Oh my goodness, though. What am I missing here? That's the cleric battle now. And then I just quit and there's the bug. But isn't it possible it's still happening? I don't understand. I don't think I could have just fixed this. I mean, maybe what we can do is we can just try reproing exactly what I did. So I send the Witch Doctor to the forest, then I send the cleric, and then I send the archer. Okay, let's just go try that. New game. Witch Doctor, cleric, archer. And then let's just follow exactly what I'm doing over here. Then I saved and loaded. I didn't even let it do anything. So I just hit save and load. And so far we should not have any bugs, right? No bugs. Okay. Then what did I do? Then I hit debug speed up on all 3 of these things. And I think I fled this battle. Yeah, I fled the battle after the second zombie got summoned. Okay, so I debug speed up on all 3 of these things. And then I flee the battle after the second zombie gets summoned. Oh, something's wrong. I need to restart the game. Yeah, because I deleted the summon zombie thing. Trying to make sure you didn't break the original issue. I'm trying to understand how this happened, because my understanding is that there's a 1-frame window for this to happen, and it didn't look like I hit that 1-frame window. So I'm going to do the exact same steps. Witch Doctor, cleric, archer. We don't even let them get into battle. We just save and load. Then we debug speed up all 3 of these. Wait for a zombie to summon. Wait for the other zombie to summon. And then flee shortly thereafter. And now, yeah, there's no problem. I just don't have an explanation for how this could have happened. You have the delay on the summons. Well, so what's happening here is the witch doctor's cooldown on summon zombie hits 0. So now they summon the zombie. That calls into this function, summon by enemy ID. We create the battler, which is now not going to work. We create the battler, which this creates a battler and immediately adds them to a hidden node. If dispose were to be called at this point, wait, does dispose get called when you flee the battle? No, I don't think so. No, wait. Oh, wait, that's the thing though, right? Is when you close the battle? What removes it? No, we clear it every time we summon everyone. Anyway, if dispose were to be called at this point, it would be a problem, which I've since fixed. Yeah, if dispose weren't called, then on the next frame we would wait, wouldn't they have 2 parents? What's going on here? Do we reparent these? Oh my god, we do. Oh my god. Oh man. All right, fine. So if dispose weren't called on the next frame, we would reparent the summon to the real battlers, not the hidden node. So my understanding of this video is that the timing is such that if you take a look at this, it summons the first zombie really quickly, then 5 seconds should pass, and then it summons the next zombie, and then it won't summon another one until another 5 seconds pass. But I ended the battle so shortly thereafter that it's no chance it was 5 seconds. And I just can't understand then why this would have happened. All of them are fighting in the forest, so there are no enemy summons that are happening. Oh, wait a second though. The enemy itself. Wait, no, the enemy itself is not a summon, is it? How does that work? Enemy battlers. This is done by the regular battle system. These get added immediately. Yeah, okay. They get added immediately. So no, that can't be a problem. And the archer and the cleric don't have any sort of summon. So it had to be something with a witch doctor. Why can't I figure this out? And there's nothing else I'm missing from the repro, right? Because then after this, we just hit... Oh, no, there is technically something else. We hit save and load. Oh. Maybe that could do it. How would that do it, though? All right, I'm going to try to do the steps again, how I saw in the video. I think only the witch doctor matters, so I don't think we need to do this with everyone. So I did this, I saved and loaded, I hit debug speed up. We waited for a zombie to get summoned, we close this out afterward. Then I hit save and load again. Yeah, it's not causing an issue. I guess what we could do is undo the last commit and then just see if that repros it. Yeah, that'd probably be better than me trying to not repro it. So we just put summoned there. That's what it used to say, I think. Diff last commit. Yes. So I've now put it back to how it was. So this is the buggy code. So now let's restart this. Because maybe my assumption about this only having 1 frame is wrong, although I don't know how. I'd love to be wrong about that, because that would make me shortcut this entire process. And wouldn't that be nice? So we do this, immediately save and load, then debug speed up, wait for a zombie to summon, wait for the other zombie to summon, and then flee that battle. And then save and load again. No error. There are some other things that this could potentially be, like maybe having the other adventurers is important because of how loading works. And then maybe, like Free Africa said, maybe other commits that I did somehow address this bug. No, wait, is that possible? I'm not sure if that one's possible. Camel back. And you only have the mage, so I don't think this is it. Interesting. Well, do we use a hidden battler node for anything else? Because if I ever do, then I guess we could have the problem there. Oh. We do. Oh, whoops. Okay. Oh my god. All right. Thank you, Skeet. So then this issue still exists. Why did I not find it then? Oh, I think it has to do with where you just like win a battle and then exit the window. In which case this would still be a problem. How did I not stumble upon this in like 3 months though? Or 2 months, I guess. Did I just do this and then close this? Wait. I did that too soon though, right? I needed to actually like fade out. No, that doesn't cause this to happen. Reapply fix. Yeah, I will. Although we don't have any summons going on here, so it shouldn't impact this regardless. But yeah, I can revert this. Okay, so we're adding things to this hidden battler node no matter what. Which means that this dispose should be wrong all the time. Oh, but it's only once they're in the removed thing, and then they get removed on the next frame. So maybe this is a one frame thing. So if I never called remove battler, this would happen. Where is this called? Add revived battler. Take adventurers out of battle. Yeah, I think we just null out this function. It'll be problematic. I think. In which case there was a different one frame thing, which means that if I look at that repro, instead what we'd be looking at is exactly when someone dies, which that zombie did look like it was dead. I guess the reason why I would look like the Witch Doctor repros this is because there are just so many more characters that could die. So now let's try this. And we speed this up. And then I press the X. Does it happen? It didn't. Save and load a few times. That was happening consistently. Every time you click load, it was broken. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know how we get into that state, though. Oh, man. I'm messing something up. What am I messing up? Wouldn't some reparenting happen? Save a layer in battle and then loading had them walking, not in battle. Yeah. But there might still be a battle system. No, I don't know. I don't know what happens there. I think instance slot gets a battle system. It doesn't. Instance does? All right, so instance gets a battle system. When? When do we make this? Or is it just made by default? Systems node. Do we get it from that? No, we add it here. Yeah, we instantiate this and then we add it in. All right. Something's still not adding up. Hold on a second. How do we get... Wait, we might have had something in the log saying that this wasn't the parent. I think we should have done battler.getParent.removeChild. I think this is possibly a fix. But this would mean you remove a battler that was never added to the battle to begin with. Oh, that's quite the pickle. How do we get into that state? Add battler by enemy ID. Create by enemy ID. Here it is. No. Hold on. This is never possible because we immediately call add right after calling. Never mind. This was silly. Yeah. This is not possible, I'm pretty sure. Because removed battlers have to be in the battle first. Although it's still fine to do this code that we have here. So I can delete this. Wait, this wouldn't be safe to call multiple times with the same entity anymore. My God, this is messed up. All right, maybe I should just go look through the video for when that mage thing happened. What did I do before that? Man, what a mess. Minus 4442 as of me loading the window a few minutes ago. So it's like minus, okay, so if I just click this now, it'll be like minus 47-ish. Yeah. It was before this, because I remember trying it in Godot to see if I could reproduce it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's go to the beginning of this. I'm looking for when I did not have this running. I started it a while back. Wow. Yeah, I see the play button up there. Is that where it was opened? Because we don't know how far back this repro needs to actually go. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at this. So here I started the game. Do I ever quit it at some point? Still haven't quit the game yet. I'm saving and loading and stuff. 2 atoms. Soon we'll have 13,531 of them. Still haven't quit the game. Still trying to repro. Still trying to just figure out how I repro this in the first place. It doesn't necessarily just have to do with summons. Yeah, the game is still running now. I still haven't stopped it. Wonder if your save file got in a bad state. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I looked at this. Come on. This is me responding to filler. It's right after this. I still haven't stopped the game, though. That's a weird thing. So it's possible that the game's already in a bad state at this point. Didn't I go into bone mode now? I continue a bone mode run. I load the game and that's it. It's already broken. What did I even have saved in the bone mode run? Do I still have that save file? I might have deleted it. Yeah, it wasn't broken on first load. Okay, that's interesting. Adventure is nothing. Oh, I know why that's happening. Because I loaded a save file that didn't have this in it already and then hit save again. But why don't I see this happen now? Yeah, this looks pretty much like what I had before, right? So I save, load, load, load. Maybe it was because these things didn't exist. Like I just delete this. And maybe this too. Whoops. That'll never not annoy me. Then I load. And if I were to save and load, it would modify the save file so that we have adventures and stuff. And now loading it. No, it doesn't cause a problem though. And we're using the witch doctor here, but I don't know what we had originally. And they never have a chance to make it all the way over here. But once something's broken, it's breaking every time. I guess the issue I have with that is that it would suggest that as soon as we've loaded the game and start a battle. Wait. No, I don't have an explanation for this. We might have fixed the bug. It might just be gone for good. And in fact, I am working from code that has my other fix in here. So if I... Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I hope I can say what happened here. Well, it's probably going to be something very particular. Battlers just summoned. Okay, hang on. Before I do this, is there any other way for someone to get into Battlers just summoned? There's only one .add here, right? Yeah, it's only here. Summoned by enemy ID. And summoned by enemy ID is called from where exactly? Enchantress. The Enchantress is not involved. Oh, the Spirit Caller can do it. Oh my god, and the Spirit Caller does it at the beginning of battle. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's that. Well, this is number 6, and I know it could happen with the mage at some point, but if we go to adventurer class, witch doctor is number 6, but I know I was testing with the Spirit Caller at some point. Well, I am curious about this. Yeah, let's try this. See what happens. I didn't even think of the Spirit Caller. And wait, what was the original repro that could proc this? I guess let's continue this. And close that. I don't even have the Spirit Caller in this, though. Why not reference the name of the variable instead of plain numbers? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm happy to answer. I don't know what you mean. So if I put the Spirit Caller into a battle, first of all, I just save and load. Does something happen? No. I think I need to actually get into a battle. Oh, the ID's in the save file? Because the name of the character could change, and you don't want to break people's save files. Wait, do those get summoned immediately? Even if they do, wouldn't I need to... Okay, well, let's look through some other things that we have here. Yeah, so again, just go back to that. So we have these adventurer classes, right? If we save them as something like Spirit Caller instead, and I'm like, you know what, that's actually a bad name. Let's change it to Warlock. Well, now you'll have a bunch of save files out in the wild, you know, from players you'll never talk to or meet who have Spirit Caller saved in their file. So you need to write a migration to be like, oh, just so you know, when you hit version 7, Spirit Caller gets reinterpreted as Warlock. So make sure you load it correctly and then save it over. And it's like, it's just extra work. So instead we just save a number. And then if we want to change the name of this, we can change it in the entire code base and it won't have any impact on the save files. What would have an impact is changing the number, of course. So it's not like you can be immune to changes. Or anywhere else that we call that summon function? Summon spirits, summon zombie, slime armor. So we weren't fighting the slime and we weren't fighting the enchantress. And that's it. So it's just the witch doctor and the spirit caller. This is there twice? Oh, I see. But this would involve starting the battle and then on the next frame quitting. Is there at a programming level to show the name, but when parsing it uses the number for persistence, you get the best of both worlds? Yeah, you could do something like that. You can write a translation layer for when you save it. And then it's just a matter of maintaining those properties, essentially. It's just not a big deal, really. Because in this case, it's like if we see a 6 in the file, we just go and look at what does 6 mean. If we need to do that constantly, I could even write a tool that doesn't change anything with the save files, but reinterprets them, like adds a layer of info for me later. Like imagine we had, save.json and I had like save annotated.json. And when you saw a 6, it put a comment there saying like witch doctor. So, I mean, that could also work. All right, well, did I fully examine the removed battlers thing? Is there any other way to get something in here? It's literally just this one line. That's it. And the only way for this to have been hit is if we remove them from the battlers node. But they could have had another parent in the form of the hidden battle node. But not really, because that doesn't last for any amount of time. Yeah, that doesn't last for any amount of time. Also, isn't this pointless now? I think this code has no reason to exist. All right, so the way we kind of prove this is here it gets added to the hidden node, and then down here we call add battler, which is now not gonna show me the code, which will definitely add it to a different parent, the battlers node, no matter what. Okay, so that's one of them. The other one is create by enemy ID. So create by enemy ID is actually called in several different spots. The summon case is special. And every other place should be followed by add battler. It is, yeah. And then this is a random file. It doesn't matter. And why is this capitalized? It's protected. Is it used in the other things? Because I didn't check that. No, wait, I would have checked that, right? Yeah, I did check it. Man. I don't know. Try to start a battle, close it with the X, then return to title, and then continue game. I think this reopens the battle that you closed that caused it. So let's go to here. Let's start a new game. So start a battle. Let's even start it. Oh, let's just start with the mage. Start a battle, then close it with the X and return to title. Well, I need to save and then return to title and then continue game. I don't think it's going to reopen the battle though. So that's another thing that potentially caused this. I hadn't finished writing the old code that I had. So we might have tried starting a battle that wouldn't have been possible. And maybe that's what caused this somehow. I just don't really have an explanation for how that would have caused it. But yeah, I guess we just ignore this for now and move on. I've analyzed this as much as I probably can. You know what? Let's do this. Here's a middle ground between ignoring it and trying at least something. Let's cut this out. So now we have the fixed code. Yeah, in the VOD, if it reopened the battle window, then it is possible that I just hadn't finished coding the feature I was working on. And I just don't know what that interaction would be. Because what I had originally was an instances manager. I wasn't checking this. So I would have tried restoring the battle regardless, but it would have made them walk to the portal first. A bug am I trying to repro? There was an issue where I would try disposing of a battle window twice, essentially, or like a battler twice. And I found one cause of it. So here's the original problem was a double dispose. And then I found like at least one cause, maybe all of them, and fixed it. The problem I have now is I don't know how that particular cause could have happened. It makes me think there's another cause that I didn't find. Any way to add logs or something to detect questionable state? Not sure how that works in game dev. Yeah, there'd be a way to add logs. The issue is I don't know how to repro this at this point. So if it happens again, I could... I mean, if there were logs, I guess I'd know how to repro it. But I don't know that it is reproable. I think the reopening of the battle window could have triggered the one frame problem. It would need to actually have started the battle though. So what happens is when you load, it opens the window and makes the adventurers walk to bat. Oh wait, there is one potential case that maybe... Let me think about this. This right here, close slots. What happens when you do this? What happens to the adventurers? Do we put them at the portal? Because if so, we could start the next battle immediately, right? But I think I would have seen that in the video. Let's see how we do this here. No, I don't see anything here. Oh yeah, in the game dev world, you could log everything. You wouldn't have some central thing collecting the logs unless you had like a privacy policy and a server running that would let people share their logs. I don't want to do that just for this case. There's something that says like eject adventurers from the... Yeah, here it is. How does this work? Wander around town? We don't put them at the portal though. Or maybe we do. I don't know. Worker wander. Huh. I don't know what happens there. Okay, so what am I doing now? Oh, man. I think I'm chalking this up to we fixed it. Oh yeah, that's right. I said there was a middle ground. The middle ground is we just kind of mess around with stuff and try this again. Have you tried LLMs on this project? Yeah, I'm using Copilot. I think what you might mean is how I tried like agentic coding and very little. Well, let's just start some battles. And just save and load and just click stuff and see what happens. I don't know. Probably there's not going to be any issues here. Speed up, save, load. I don't know. Close a window, load the game. I'm just clicking random things, hoping that this repros. All right, now we save that and then load. Still nothing so far. What if I put these characters into a battle, speed up, save, load? I guess one of the differences with bone mode is that... Oh, wait, that's a problem, right? Oh, that is a problem. You can get auto repeat before you're allowed to have auto repeat. All right, well, that's a different problem. And I know what's causing that. Oh, that is kind of funny. So, yeah, somewhere I just hard coded a true, and I need to make it be based on whether you have auto repeat. Where is that? I think it's in load. Yeah, it's right there. Bool auto repeat equals town dot has unlocked. What did I call this? I don't remember what I called this. Well, I don't remember what I called it. There's somewhere to figure out if you even have access to auto repeat. It's whatever makes this button show, which I guess is on the end battle screen. Auto repeat button. There should be something that makes this visible or not visible. There it is. Town dot is auto battle possible. That's what it's called. All right. So we change this to this. Is unlocked. Pass in true, just like when the player does it normally. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think that should fix this tiny problem. Yeah, I don't see how I fix this either. But there was the big question of the feature I was working on at the time, which was saving battle states. It's possible I was in some weird middle ground where it wasn't coded yet, and that had an interaction with disposing of battles. I just don't know how. And the only thing I could even think that, no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. All right, so let's go back to this. So I make a new game and I start a battle. So I don't have auto battling unlocked. And I do this and I save and load. Now it should not auto battle. Just speed this up. It should just end the battle and be done. Yeah. But if I unlock auto battle, then it doesn't matter if we had this turned on or off. As soon as I'm in the battle and I save and load, it's going to act like auto battle is on, which I'm fine with. That is a known thing. And if I don't already have that written in that issue, I want it to be written in the issue. Yeah. If you have an ongoing battle that does not have auto repeat on, loading the game will act like it's on anyway. This just isn't worth changing the behavior since most people want auto battling on. All right, well, that fixes that bug. All right, I'm going to move on from this stuff. Well, it's, oh my God, it's 12:13. All right, I should probably just get lunch. Fix bug with auto battle, repro, enter story mode, don't unlock auto battling, start a battle, don't let it finish, save the game, save/load the game. At this point, auto battling would be enabled for the saved battle, even though you don't have it. This is such a minor thing. Like, one of the things I kind of think about in the back of my head when I do this sort of thing is, hey, if someone really wants to, can't they know all of this and then exploit the game a little bit? And it's like, yes, you could save yourself exactly 20 gold if you wanted to. And really only 10 because you're probably going to want these upgrades at some point. So like, yeah, you could have made a new game and you could have started a battle here and then saved and immediately loaded. And then, yep, this would be set to auto battle. Does it let you do something you couldn't have done? No, you could have just clicked the repeat button a bunch of times. And it's not like it's some supreme cost in the game. It's 10 gold here and it's 10 gold here. So at best, you'd have saved yourself a tiny amount of gold or effort or both for like 20 seconds. So yeah, not a big deal, even if I'd left that bug in. And who would have even discovered it? Like, it's only for story mode and only in the first 5 minutes. Prefixing speedrun strats. Yeah. Okay, so let's push this to there. And now I can see what I even did today. I feel like it was not a lot. What am I doing? This isn't right. 13 commits. How many were today? 5. Yeah, so fix some bugs. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? And saved battle configurations. This is not working. What's going on? It's not even running the script. Do I need to refresh? What is going on? No, now it's working. I unplugged and plugged in the keyboard again. I don't know why that fixed it. So added the ability to save battle configurations and fixed a few bugs. But one of those bugs was with battle configurations, right? Just that one. These were real bugs. Oh, why is that the same commit message twice? That doesn't seem right. Oh, no. It's the same commit message, but they're different bugs. Or same commit subject, I mean. All right. Yeah, improvement is improvement. But I think that you can only say that when you don't have a deadline. So with 48 days remaining, I could, like, I don't know, improve the letter O in the font, for example. But that's a really bad idea, right? So I really do need to prioritize, like, what are the best improvements for right now. And this, by the way, I think was pretty good. Like, just to show what this feature feels like for players in the game. And I know I showed this earlier, but players will, wait for this to load. Players will start a bunch of battles and then want those same battles when they load the game. And there was no way of doing that before. So like, this is the scenario they'll find themselves in. They'll be like, okay, I've got the whole map unlocked. I've got all the adventures unlocked. And they're like, okay, I got this battle going here and this one going over here and something else, right? And these windows are moved around and whatever. So now we have our like witch doctor party up there, our deep forest party down here, and we just save and load. Now when you come back into the game, it's like, oh look, your witch doctor party's up there, deep forest party's down here, and you could just pick up where you left off pretty much. I mean, they're walking to the portal now. They used to be in the portal. But yeah, I think that's going to be a nice little thing that people will run into. So like that will be felt. It was probably worth spending the time on that. But yeah, I got to be really careful going through other GitHub issues because there are going to be a lot of these things that, yeah, they might be nice, but they're not really going to matter. Like this is probably not happening at this point. I should probably just close this. The idea was every time you beat a boss or you collect a certain item, it can be added to your museum. This doesn't have to be too crazy, right? Yeah, maybe we will still do this. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have to be too difficult. We keep track of all the data anyway. I don't think the save file needs to change at all, except for just have you unlock the museum. Have unlocked museum or something like that. The other thing too is we could make it a money sink. Like you buy slots in the museum, but they're just cosmetic anyway. Yeah, it could be a post-launch feature. That's true. What would be nice about this is there are a lot of items in the game right now that they only drop from one battle. So like, let's say we, wait, can't I do this way? Yeah. Okay. So let's say we do this and we go into this battle. So this is an example of one of those items, ogre blood. And I like the little joke that I wrote for this. It was nice of the ogre to bottle this before dying. Like most people don't even see that this dropped and they don't know the value and they don't read the little joke. And then they just find that they have got 100 more gold at some point. And they're like, oh, how'd that happen? So it'd be nice to have like, yeah, a museum here, and it's like, oh yeah, there's the ogre statue, and here's what it drops when you beat it. Does that show on the map? It doesn't. I don't think it needs to though. All right, what am I doing in the afternoon? Oh, hey, push Discord. Yeah, I wanted to do this. Yeah, if people are not in Discord and want to help me at all with a game, I think it'd be great if you could join either one, the Skelos other one or the Adam Learns one. Part of the reason I say this is because at launch, reviews will be very important. This bug I don't care about, by the way. I've seen this happen before. Yeah, so reviews are going to be very important. And I mean Steam reviews specifically. So right now, I think we've got like 63 demo reviews. I don't think those probably matter too much. Yeah, but the main page has no reviews because the game isn't out yet. But once this is out, people very much look at this, and Steam, I think, uses this as a signal for like, are you going to attract more players? So if you end up looking at a game and you end up seeing overwhelmingly positive, it's like, wow, that's probably a pretty safe buy, especially when you see that many reviews. And it's no different from looking at like restaurants on Google or something, right? If you see, oh, it's a 3.2 out of 5, you might be like, well, maybe it's not worth going to. Same thing happens on Steam. All right, I'll just figure out the afternoon stuff after lunch. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be a tough 48 days. Okie dokie. I think I'm just gonna log off. I always feel weird rating someone and not being there, and that's what I did yesterday. So yeah, I will probably take tomorrow to just make content. I want to record a bunch of videos so that leading into Skeletseller's launch, I can have more content on my channel and see how that does. Maybe it'll be worthwhile, maybe it won't be. But yeah, so I think the next stream will be on Friday. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And I'll catch you next time.